Chapter 221. Spike Kakashi 5th. Kakashi was stunned, and quickly explained, "This is an order from Hokage-sama." Gongling shook her head. "Master is at a critical juncture in his cultivation, please do not disturb me." "About the war with Kumogakure. Can't go in." Gongling is still unreasonable, or in other words, except Gong Yi, she is like this to anyone. Kakashi took a deep breath, thinking that when the 3 generations of Hokage sent him out, he had to pass the word on, and for a while, he didn't care about anything. He wants to break in. As soon as he moves, he goes into Gong Yi's house. However, he only rushed out a short distance, and a big blue hand grabbed him. Kakashi's face changed greatly, his body was in the air, and he was directly crushed. Boom! When Kakashi reappeared, he was still there, outside. He was almost injured just now, and at the critical moment, he still managed to dodge with a skilled substitute technique. Looking at Yuchin, 3220. With big hands composed of pure water chakra, Kakashi's face is ugly. Of ninjutsu involves the morphological changes of chakra, and also injects nature transformation, and the black-robed man in front of him used it so easily. Gongling looked at him indifferently. Kakashi bit Kiba, and the lightning flashed on his hand, which is more advanced than advanced ninjutsu. He also has it. Reikiri. Gongling did his part, and controlled the big hand of the water chakra, and grabbed it. Wow! The sound of the turbulent water sounded, and Chakra's big hand was directly cut by Reikiri. Kakashi stepped forward to kill. Gongling's face remained unchanged, and both hands quickly hand-seal. Suiden, water style, water breaks. Wow! Still can't stop it. Raiden, thunder style, restrains Doden, earth style, and Suiden, water style, and even with the blessing of Suiden, water style, there is a better enhancement effect. If Gongling only relies on Suiden, water style, ninjutsu, it is very hard to beat Kakashi. Just when Gongling wanted to mobilize the power of the tailed beast to block Kakashi, a huge black, yellow hand pressed down from behind her. Target, only one person. Kakashi. What kind of ninjutsu is this? Strong pressure forced Kakashi to retreat. That black-yellow giant hand, however, did not give up. The 5 thick fingers with even faint fingerprints, suddenly closed together. Sharingan on. Reikiri. Kakashi's hand was full of white light, and he slashed towards one of the weakest fingers. Dang! The golden light flashed, and Kakashi flew back upside down, in the air, spitting blood continuously. Fingers folded, huge palms grabbed him in the center. Kakashi's face was pale and even a little frightened. This ninjutsu with a huge palm is terrifying. It's clearly Doden, earth style, why not restrained by Raiden, thunder style, ninjutsu, go back. Tell Sarutobi Hiruzen, he will come in person. Humph. With a cold snort, the palm disappeared, and Kakashi fell to the ground. The black-robed man glanced at him, turned and closed the door. Master is worthy of master. His palms are far more powerful than mine. Gongling walked in the yard, no longer the indifference before, but a little excited. The azure blue palm she used and Gong Yi's big black and yellow hand were actually the same ninjutsu. All Gong Yi know, I realized it a long time ago, and gave it to her by the way, and also mentioned how to integrate the chakra changes of water nature. If Gongling is well practiced, then this ninjutsu will show a powerful squeezing force, as well as the characteristics of the endless Suiden, water style, ninjutsu. Ordinary ninjutsu can't break through Gongling's attack at all. In Gong Yi's hands, this ninjutsu, which he named the heaven-shattering palm, is even stronger. With the earth-based chakra, the enemy will be shattered in one shot. This is only the most superficial use. The master's form changes, and even the palm can be used to grasp, grapple, block and other effects. As for the fact that he just couldn't rush out of Kakashi, it was because Gong Yi put a little gold chakra in it, and Raiden Thunder style naturally couldn't cut that finger. Back in the yard, Gongling caught a glimpse of Hyuga Neji standing beside her. What are you doing? The 500 push-ups that the master asked you to do, are you done? It's done. Hyuga Neji nodded quickly, but then swallowed. Sister Gongling, what kind of ninjutsu did you and your teacher perform just now? It looks similar, but it seems to be very different. And it looks so cool. The teacher didn't even come out, and he defeated a powerful Jonin with one palm. Hearing the question, which was like a barrage of cannonballs, Gongling tilted her head. Go, after 500 push-ups, go for another round of stakes. Oh. Hyuga Neji bowed his head in frustration. The teacher has such a strong ninjutsu, why not give it to himself? Let out a big hand calmly during the battle, no matter how powerful it would scare people to death. In the quiet secret room, Gong Yi spit out turbid air. He looked at his hands with a satisfied look. Of the palm of the sky is the result of his many years of Doden, Earth-style, ninjutsu practice. Whether it is a form change or an injected nature transformation, they all have the power of ninjutsu. Although ninjutsu is not only judged by its power, it is also related to the difficulty of learning and the degree of damage to the body. But basically it belongs to the class of ninjutsu, and the power is not small. But it's not just the ninjutsu that makes Gong Yi satisfied. What he is more satisfied with is that his chakra upper limit has finally been raised. The fusion degree of Hashirama cells has reached 99%. The remaining 1% will not need to fuse Hashirama cells, but will undergo qualitative changes due to quantitative changes, and the body will automatically replenish. Thus forming a body that is entirely his own, not a Hashirama-like body. At this level, the chakra upper limit bottleneck that has plagued Gong Yi for many years is also directly opened. That requires a lot of chakra, such as the palm of the sky, can even be released from a distance of several hundred meters without anyone showing up. If it's on the battlefield, swept a lot, Gong Yi is even more looking forward to it. If the fusion progress reaches 100%, what changes will he have? It shouldn't be long before. Half a month or 10 days or even less. Sarutobi Hiruzen looked at the seriously injured Kakashi with a gloomy expression, waved his hand, and sent someone to take him down for treatment. Originally thought that under his own guidance, Kakashi's strength improved by leaps and bounds, and at least he could compete with cage-level powerhouses. However, without even seeing Gong Yi's face, he was caught by a slap. What ninjutsu is, Sarutobi Hiruzen doesn't know, and he's not in the mood to know. He only knows one thing. Gong Yi's strength is increasing day by day. Even if it is himself, if he doesn't use the ghoul to seal, he is afraid that he will not be able to beat him. And Gong Yi's attitude is getting tougher. I even said that I don't take myself seriously anymore. But, do you really want to come and beg him? Recommend a book, Hokage, The Strongest Eye Technique, the author Waste Fish. Interested brothers can go look at Philo to remind you. Book 3 Things to Read, and push the latest chapter. Baidu search 99 Playmates to find 99 novels. Chapter 222. 3 days later, Sarutobi Hiruzen finally set foot on the road to the palace leader. He didn't bring anyone, not even Anbu ninjas. For certain things, after thinking about them, he can see through. Gong Yi's move is not so much that he doesn't take himself seriously. It's better to say that he was resentful to himself for ordering him back before. The temperament that a strong man should have. You can't ask anyone to be Konoha White Fang. Use it if you want, and kick it aside if you don't. Gong Yi obviously couldn't hold his breath. Maybe you can have a good talk with him. The big deal is to pull down this face and beg him, and things will eventually have a solution. After meeting Gong Yi, some of Sarutobi Hiruzen's previous guesses were completely overturned by him in an instant. The aura of the deep sea, and the inexplicable danger, constantly emerged from that. The young man in the white robe. This feeling shocked Sarutobi Hiruzen. He hadn't experienced this kind of feeling for many years. In his memory, only the first Hokage, who was about to die soon, gave him this kind of feeling. Even the powerful second-generation Hokage and second-generation Raikage did not bring him this feeling. He only felt that there seemed to be something in Gong Yi all the time. It was suppressed, and it was almost enough to burst out. Once it erupts, its power is simply unimaginable. After swallowing his saliva, Sarutobi Hiruzen knew that today's visit might not be so easy. I seem to have said that a few months ago. Gong Yi squinted and smiled. The outcome of this war is not as easy as you think. I hope that one day, you don't come and beg me. So why is Hokage-sama here today? Quote. Sarutobi Hiruzen said solemnly. Every day, Konoha's ninjas are dying in battle. As a member of the village, you don't want to see this scene continue. Hee hee. Gong Yi shook his head and chuckled. When you called me back, did you ever think about this follow-up development? Sarutobi Hiruzen frowned, feeling a little regret in her heart. The Kingdom of Thunder clearly promised not to start the war lightly, and to give both sides a peaceful buffer time to adjust the situation. However, Gong Yi didn't stay in Konoha for a few months, and the Kingdom of Thunder broke this agreement and started a war brazenly. Which was still deadlocked, changed completely after the two-tailed Jinchuriki column force Yugito entered the war. On the front line, there were 6,000 ninja troops, plus 2,000 reinforcements, a total of 8,000. Now, more than 3,000 people have been lost, which is a heavy casualty. Sarutobi Hiruzen could not have imagined that Kumogakure village would dare to send Jinchuriki column forces to the battlefield, or aren't they afraid of losing control and the tailed beast running wild? The village's handling was inappropriate. As Hokage, and as the person who issued the order, I'm here to apologize to you today. Sarutobi Hiruzen said word by word, with a sincere tone. Gong Yi leaned back slightly and turned his body sideways. The face of Hokage's apology, he didn't want to take it so calmly. After all, this was the shadow of a village, and it was an old man. Of course, the most important thing is that if you accept it, it's hard to talk about the next conditions. I can promise to go to the battlefield. I can even promise to turn the tide of battle and bring victory. Gong Yi said lightly. It seems that the situation of turning the tide of the battle is not difficult for him. Sarutobi Hiruzen was overjoyed, but the good city still made him control his expression. In front of others, happiness and anger are invisible. This is the basic requirement. But I have one condition. Sarutobi Hiruzen said calmly. You said, as long as the village can provide, they will agree to you. It's easy. Gong Yi smiled. I want to read the sealed book again. Sarutobi Hiruzen pondered and felt that this request was not excessive. Originally, Gong Yi made so many credits in the past few years, enough to read the sealed book once, but Gong Yi progressed too fast. Sarutobi Hiruzen did not give him. It is a little bit to suppress Gong Yi's momentum. Now that Gong Yi wants to see it, the big deal is to give him it's nothing more than to make him more palms. To hold a ninjutsu. Just when he wanted to agree, Gong Yi added. Watch the sealed book alone, don't let anyone disturb me. Gong Yi was the only one in the quiet Hokage office. In his hand, a quaint, long scroll unfolded in front of him. Although Sarutobi Hiruzen was reluctant in every possible way, he still agreed to Gong Yi's request, but there was one request that he could only watch for 1 hour. In an hour, how much can he write down? How much? No excerpts are allowed. Sarutobi Hiruzen thought very clearly. If Gong Yi is not allowed to go to the battlefield, the grievances of other civilians in the village and the family will not be appeased. Of course, he can actually go to the battlefield himself, but the odds of winning are not very big. And most importantly, if he made a mistake on the battlefield, then there would be no one in the village to suppress Gong Yi at all. He has to ensure his own life, even if Gong Yi's reputation is high. As long as he is still in power for a day, he can let Gong Yi have a few scruples. Touching the Book of Seals, which is the large scroll in his hand, Gong Yi sneered again and again. 3 generations of this old guy. He said he was going to let me watch it alone, and he set a time limit, but he still did it. Obviously, the seal on the Book of Seals was not completely opened, and Gong Yi could only see a few forbidden techniques. This is Sarutobi Hiruzen deliberately so. Gong Yi didn't panic at all. When it comes to sealing techniques, after years of study, he is by no means weaker than anyone in the village. Even now, he is already studying the 8 trigrams seal, an advanced seal technique that can seal QB 9 tails. Both hands quickly hand seal, hit the scroll, and the light flashes. The seal is unlocked. The first forbidden technique I can see is the multiple shadow clone technique. Once Gong Yi gave up this ninjutsu and chose the 8 inner gates because of insufficient chakra. But now, he doesn't have these worries. His eyes swept 320 in 10 lines, and with the second seed of consciousness that was about to be born, he remembered it in his mind with an unforgettable effect. 5 minutes have passed. The second forbidden technique, impure world reincarnation. Imagining the power of Orochimaru and impure world reincarnation, Gong Yi is delighted. Write it down. The time has passed 5 minutes again. The third forbidden technique, the 8 inner gates. Skip. The fourth forbidden technique, Gong Yi frowned. Jump to the fifth forbidden technique, Gong Yi frowned deeper. Izanagi. Izanagi. Recalling the first time he browsed the Book of Seals, he didn't seem to have seen these 2 ninjutsu. According to my own memory, these 2 ninjutsu should belong to the Uchiha clan. According to legend, the Book of Seals was established by the first generation, and the second generation Hokage Senju Tobarama perfected it and even added a lot of ninjutsu to it. Originally, I wanted to be the strong foundation of the village, but unfortunately, most of the forbidden techniques here are difficult to learn, and they are harmful to the body. So by the time of the third generation, it was rarely shown to others. Even Namikaze Minato only learned Hiraishin from above. No, there is another one. The Ghoul seal is also on the Book of Seals. Looking at these unfamiliar and familiar ninjutsu, Gong Yi has no time to think about the reason for their existence. Write it all down, and the time has jumped to about half an hour. For the rest of the time, aside from a series of forbidden techniques such as the demonic illusion dark line, Gong Yi jumped straight to the end. Mokuden, wood style. Chapter 223. This is the purpose of his strong request to read the Book of Seals. Kekkei Genkei's power is beyond doubt. This is an existence that can be on an equal footing with the power of the tailed beast. The 3 generations of Kazekage and Rasa, with the Kekkei Genkei, can suppress the one tail. Uchiha Madara can control Kyubi, 9 tails, with Sharingan. Senju Hashirama can also completely suppress Kyubi with Mokuden, wood style, 9 tails. This shows that Kekkei Genkei is strong. But Kekkei Genkei is also divided into strong and weak. This strength is not only the so-called restraint relationship. Degree of development and utilization of a certain Kekkei Genkei. For example, Terumi Mei, who is also good at Futen, vapor style, is now inferior to Futen, vapor style, of the 3rd generation of Mizukage Sujido Sukari. Another example is the Mokuden, wood style, used by Senju Hashirama, which is definitely stronger than Uchiha Obito and Uchiha Madara. This is a comparison of the same kind of ninjutsu. Different species can be compared with white with Kimimaro. 2 are about the same age, and both have Kekkei Genkei as masters, but their strengths are vastly different. Various reasons lie in the development of Kekkei Genkei, and the difference in utilization. Gong Yi's early master had Jindun, and now he is also good at Jindun. Reason is also that Gong Yi's development of Jindun is getting higher and higher. From a few kunai, to a long sword in the back, and even used to cover any part of the body at any time. He was fighting against Kyubi, 9 tails, he even used the ultimate move that could resist tailed beast bomb, John. Now Gong Yi's fusion of Hashirama cells is about to be completed, and he also has a hunch that he can indeed use Mokuden, wood style, chakra. In this way, he is the existence of 2 kinds of Kekkei Genkei master at the same time. If so, then make full use of Mokuden, wood style, ninjutsu. Compared to developing Mokuden, wood style, ninjutsu on his own, Senju Hashirama, who has reached the limit on this road, is undoubtedly his best teacher. In the Book of Seals, a scroll set up by Senju Hashirama himself, it is impressive. Then there is the related Mokuden, wood-style, ninjutsu. Mokuden, wood-style, deep forest emergence. The ninjutsu that uses his own chakra as the source of life to quickly grow many trees from the ground. The trees are like uprooted, a forest can be created in an instant, and all attacks and defenses in the forest are controlled by the caster. This is the Mokuden, wood-style, starter, and it can also be called the basis for maximizing the effect of Mokuden, wood-style. Take note, Mokuden, wood-style, wood dragon jutsu transfers chakra to the seeds of trees, resulting in huge dragons. The binding force of the big tree is very strong, and once it is entangled, it will absorb chakra. Gong Yi is also very impressed with this move. It can resist Kyubi, 9 tails, and even suppress the powerful ninjutsu. Kyubi, 9 tails, was once bound and screamed by a wooden dragon. Senju Hashirama is using this move to suppress the actions of Kyubi, 9 tails, and this move seems to give Madara a strong impression. In the Fourth Ninja War, Madara was using Hashirama's cells to launch this trick, as if paying homage to Hashirama. Remember, Senpo, sage art, Mokuden, wood style, Shinsasenju. Mokuden, wood style, on top of the Buddha. These two moves are combo moves and must be used in sage mode. Once you use Shinsasenju, you can create a huge Buddha statue with countless giant arms behind it, and then use the mark of the Buddha on the top to blast out all the countless giant arms. Of these two techniques is arrogant. Not only can Chia Madara's powerful Susanoo, but even the huge destructive power, blast the terrain, forming the valley of the end of the ninja world. Gong Yi is a little crazy. Compared with his hard work to develop Kekkei Genkei, these Mokuden, wood style, ninjutsu is not only powerful, but also easy to obtain. If he learns it quickly, then he is invincible in the current ninja world. But when he wrote down another gate of the great god ninjutsu, Gong Yi suddenly stopped. What's wrong with yourself? Quote. Gong Yi's face was a little pale, and the feeling just now made his calm mentality for many years to be shaken. If it weren't for the sudden trembling of the seeds of divine consciousness in his mind, he would have almost lost himself in that feeling. Looking at the Book of Seals in his hand, Gong Yi threw it on the table and returned to the state of the previous Sarutobi Hiruzen seal. Why do I feel this way? Obviously many years ago, after researching my own Kekkei Genkei, I said that I want Jindun to resound throughout the ninja world and become a Kekkei Genkei no less than Mokuden, wood style, or even stronger. Now, I'm addicted to Mokuden, wood style, ninjutsu. Gong Yi suddenly sat down with his knees crossed, and the divine art was slowly activated. When the spiritual power flowed one after another, the second seed of divine consciousness that had been shackled for a long time suddenly condensed. Gong Yi suddenly understood. Feeling that I had before had a faint smell of going crazy. In recent years, Gong Yi has made rapid progress. From ordinary ninjas, he has successively acquired various advanced ninjutsu, and even developed Kekkei Genkei and successfully practiced sage mode. Strength is fundamental, but it is your own heart that controls this strength. There were no people or things that could make Gong Yi's mood unbalanced before, but this time he was triggered by many Mokuden, wood-style ninjutsu, but it made him lose state. Two divine consciousness seeds slowly turned, and finally appeared in his eyes, like dazzling stars, constantly flickering. Gong Yi smiled dumbly, but he was too persistent. Mention Master Mokuden, wood-style ninjutsu. With his current strength, it is actually enough to suppress the ninja world. As for the Fourth Ninja War in the future, he still has more than 10 years to improve his strength. Why rush? Squeak. The door was pushed open, and Sarutobi Hiruzen walked in. A little surprised to see the sealed book that was thrown aside and Gong Yi sitting cross-legged on the ground. You are. Gong Yi stood up with a smile. I just watched a ninjutsu and thought it was suitable for me, so I couldn't help but practice on the spot. What ninjutsu? Well, let me show you. Gong Yi slowly hand seal with both hands. Seems to be the first time to use it, not very proficient. Bang! With a soft sound, dozens of Gongyi crowded into Hokage's office. Multiple shadow clone techniques. A ninjutsu that is very simple to practice, even a young Naruto can learn directly. The reason for being listed as forbidden technique is also not complicated. Every shadow clone will give feedback on what it sees and feel, and when many shadow clones are withdrawn, the caster will suffer a huge mental shock. It is easy to cause the practitioner's mental confusion and become an idiot. Moreover, this technique has very high requirements for chakra. With Gongyi's powerful mental power and the amount of chakra that breaks through the limit, it is almost in an instant, he mastered this ninjutsu. Sarutobi Hiruzen nodded. It seems that Gongyi only learned this one ninjutsu, so, it is an acceptable result. Bang! All shadow clone disappeared. Gongyi shook his head and felt a little uncomfortable. This is the first time I use it, and I am not very proficient. It's okay, I am very satisfied with this ninjutsu. Sarutobi Hiruzen picked up the sealed book and raised his eyebrows. Then what you promised? 1 month care. Gongyi raised a finger and said relaxedly. A month later, Kumogaku retreats. Chapter 224. Jiraiya joins the war. The mist boils and the heat rolls. The huge bath, there are many people soaking in Izumi. The norm for the soup country. The country is rich in geothermal heat and has many natural warm Izumi ponds, hence the name of the country of hot water. Just that compared to the usual lively hot tubs, there have been a lot fewer people visiting this shop these days. In the white fog, a man with sharp white hair was naked and soaked in it. But his attention was all on the conversations of the others in the bath. Why is Kumogaku and Konoha fighting, and the battlefield is on the territory of our country of soup? Shima, there's nothing you can do about it. They're a big country, and the ninja village is very strong. We, the country of soup, can't resist. The young man called Shima said angrily. Once our Tang ninja village was also called the Battle Ninja Village. It's outrageous to be bullied to such an extent now. The companion shook his head, his eyes showing helplessness. I only hope that the village of Kumogaku will defeat Konoha as soon as possible and end this war. Some people were puzzled and asked curiously, why didn't Konoha defeat Kumogaku? It stands to reason that Konoha is stronger. Sneered, Konoha strong, that is the past. One after another with Tsunagaku, Iwagaku, and then through the Kyubi, 9 Tails chaos. Even their younger 4 generations of Hokage are dead. What's more powerful is just lingering. 320 inches. Isn't there still an existence called Konoha Sanin? Hey, did you just come out of the deep mountains? Konoha Sanin has long since left the village, Orochimaru betrayed, and is now listed as a Konoha class wanted criminal. Jiraiya Tsunade is nowhere to be found, except the old guy's 3 generations of Hokage. There are not many strong men who can handle it. Shima sneered, extremely disdainful. His companion shook his head, not necessarily. Konoha also has the dark blue demon, Gongyi, who is as famous as Yellow Flash. And before, they even entered the village of Kurigaku, and until now, the ninjas in the village of Kurigaku are rebuilding their homes. Shima shrugged, of course I know that one. But don't you know that he killed too many ordinary civilians in the village of Kurigaku, and was condemned by the big names of the 4 major countries, and the 4 big ninja villages jointly put pressure on him. Now he can't get out of the village at all and is under house arrest in Konoha. Hearing this, a group of people were surprised and talked a lot. Shocked by what the dark blue demon has done. He also disdains Konoha's weakness, and with such a strong man, he is even afraid of the pressure of the 4 great powers. But in the end, they all thought that if Konoha didn't send the strong to the battlefield, battle with Kumogaku is sure to be defeated. Crash! The sound of water sounded, and Jiraiya left the bath with a heavy face. Put on your clothes and feel heavy in your heart. Over the years he has been outside, looking for Orochimaru, and also writing his own book, looking for the so-called son of prophecy. I don't really care much about things in the village. Until recently, he didn't know that so many big things happened in the village. The chaos of Kyubi, 9 Tails. Minato, dead. After he left, Tsunade actually left. Imagine how, under such circumstances, there are not many strong men in the village who can hold it up. Teacher Sarutobi Hiruzen has no choice but to compromise with the 4 great powers. Thinking of the recent war, he bites Kiba. Maybe I can't be so irresponsible anymore. I should go back to the village, or go directly to the front to help the army of Konoha. Just as he was walking out of Wen Izumi's store, Z stopped suddenly. A man wearing a Yuhi cloud cloak walked slowly from the street. Akatsuki people. Although Jiraiya didn't know the man, he knew the suit. In his investigation, Orochimaru is joined this organization. Recently, he even got news that Akatsuki, for some unknown reason, often appears in Yuno country. He did not act rashly, but watched the man walk by. Strong, not weaker than me. Jiraiya hid her body a little so that no one could see it. Zhao, they all look around, frowning. According to Pain, Hidan should be in the land of soup. Let me introduce him to Akatsuki. But how do you find him? Just as he walked past the Wen Izumi store where Jiraiya was located, his brows subconsciously tightened. There are strong people here, leave first. Akatsuki has set a strategy of low-key development, secretly executing the plan, and in the early stage, try not to be in conflict with the powerful with names and surnames. Zhao, all of them suddenly increased their speed, mixed into the crowd, and disappeared in a blink of an eye. Jiraiya pursued for a while, and had no choice but to shake her head and leave. Is indeed a master in Akatsuki, but he is not Orochimaru, nor does he have any aura of Orochimaru. The news that I got this time, I am afraid it will be a waste. Thinking of this, Jiraiya turned and headed north of Yuno country. Since Orochimaru can't be found, it's better to go to the battlefield and help Konoha through this difficult time. It took a day for Jiraiya to arrive on the battlefield, and even directly into the camp where Konoha's army was stationed. Facing his appearance, unexpectedly, not many ninjas appeared happy. For these ninjas, the so-called Sannin, is a thing of the past. In this day and age, Sannin is more of a coward who turned his back on Konoha. They were looking for was Gong Yi. It was Gong Yi who could stop Kyubi, 9 Tails, and save the village during the rebellion of Kyubi, 9 Tails. It was Gong Yi who could defeat one village and force Kurigakure to retreat. Lord Yi, not you, Sannin Jiraiya, who left the village for so-called friendship. Jiraiya met the Inoshika Cho trio with a complicated look. 3. Is there anything I can help you with? Nara Shikaku smiled reluctantly. Master Jiraiya suddenly appeared, and with such a strong reinforcement, we will be relieved to resist Kumogakure next. These words are insincere. Akamichi Choza is not as euphemistic as he is, and he stands out bluntly. Lord Jiraiya, you still remember that you are a Konoha ninja. Where were you a few years ago? Jiraiya smiled wryly, knowing so many things, he could actually guess the ninjas in the village, and he should have a grudge against him. He didn't want to argue too much, he just wanted to contribute a bit to the village in this war. Yamanaka Inoichi stopped Akamichi Choza and said calmly, Lord Jiraiya, you are not on the expedition list. About you, maybe, we have to wait until Lord Gong Yi arrives before making arrangements. Gong Yi. Jiraiya was surprised. Isn't he ordered to be in the village and not allowed to fight? Akamichi Choza sneered. If Lord Gong Yi doesn't come again, this battle will be defeated. What face will Konoha have to protect the territory of the Fire Nation? Nara Shikaku nodded and said meaningfully, now, we can only rely on the command of Lord Gong Yi. Words, you, Jiraiya, are not Konoha's savior. Jiraiya's face changed, and in the end, she didn't leave, but stayed. When he wants to come, even after Gong Yi arrives, he should need a strong person like himself to help him. But the truth, is it really like this? 3 poles in the sun, under the high temperature, thousands of ninja armies are standing outside the camp in neat rows. They are waiting for someone. Someone who can lead them to defeat Kumogakure. In countless sights, a white robe slowly walked out from the horizon. Star eyes, function as handsome, like a graceful, kunzi. Even under the scorching sun, the white robe gave people a cool feeling. Gong Yi no walked to the front of the Konoha army in a hurry, showing a smile. Reach out and hold the sky high. We will win this battle. Chapter 225. Gong Yi's influence. Definitely. 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 ... Early in the morning, the Kumogakure army noticed the abnormality of the Konoha army, and thousands of people were dispatched. They thought that the other party was going to start a war, so they quickly assembled their troops, and even sent intelligence ninjas to observe secretly. At this time, it was found that the other party was only to greet a person, and he couldn't help but wonder. And after the arrival of that person, the morale of the Konoha army was high, which made several intelligence ninjas look at each other in dismay. That person seems to be the dark blue devil of Konoha. According to the picture, it should be correct. Gong Yi's appearance is rare and handsome in the ninja world, and almost anyone who has seen him or seen his portrait will not admit it wrong. After learning that the dark blue demon arrived at the front line, several intelligence ninjas did not dare to stay, and immediately rushed back to the camp of the Kumogakure army. Master Dodai, the information has been checked. A man standing at the top suddenly turned around. Thin and squat, with a blindfold on his left eye, which turned out to be a one-eyed disabled man. But no one will disrespect him. Dodai, Jonin of Kumogakure village in the Land of Thunder, the courtier of Reikage in all dynasties, and he is also the reviewer of all dynasties. When he was young, he was trusted by the 3rd generation of Reikage, and when the 4th generation of Reikage took office, he was still the most trusted one. Besides, this person is very powerful. With Kekkei Genkei Yoden lava style, he is the strongest in the village, except Reikage, the 4th generation, and Jinchuriki column. Of the younger generation is not as powerful as him now. He is known as the person who tells the strongest myth. That's exactly what happened. Even if the 4th generation of Reikage sent Darui, the commander-in-chief of the battlefield was still Dodai. Report. Dodai spoke softly. The intelligence ninja below said quickly, the Konoha army is assembled just to greet one person. Dark Blue Devil. Dodai nodded. Darui next to him wondered, why shouldn't he be in the Konoha village? How could he come to the battlefield? Dodai shook his head and said, we can tear up the agreement and start the war. It's normal for Konoha to send Gong Yi. Don't worry about this kind of thing. So-called agreement, treaty, agreement, and even contract, when reached on the battlefield, will be torn up sooner or later. Just that generally, someone with stronger strength will take the initiative to tear it apart. Darui was stunned, but nodded immediately, thinking that he was naive. Dodai is more concerned about one other thing. You said that the Dark Blue Devil is upright, without any trace of concealment, and arrived at the front line. Intelligence Ninja hummed and gave a positive answer. Dodai's eyes flashed. If this is the case, then the morale of the Konoha army will be improved. Indeed, according to our observation, after Gong Yi arrived, the morale of the entire Konoha army was completely different. Even shouted the slogan of victory. If that's the case, it's not very good. Dodai muttered to himself, with a worried look on his face. Darui and his companion Samui looked at each other, puzzled. Seeing this, Dodai felt the need to explain. After all, Darui is so talented that he is used as the second right hand by the 4th generation Reikage, and may even be a candidate for the 5th generation Reikage. Teaching him all the time is also what I do as a leader. Gong Yi is different from you. He doesn't come from the big Konoha family, he all grew up from an ordinary civilian ninja. The first time he came to prominence was in the Konoha Sunagakure War, when he defeated Rasa, the most prestigious and most likely to succeed the fourth-generation Kazekage at the time. After that, he took credit in the war, even chasing the color flash, and was called the Konoha duo with Namikaze Minato. If he hadn't been too young at the time, he would probably have been the fourth Hokage. Everything that this man did, you must know. In order to regain the eyes of his subordinates, he chased and killed 7 people of ninja swords, and even seriously injured the third generation of Mizukage Tsujido Tsukuri, so that the village of Kurigakure was attacked by the village of Iwagakure. We entered the village of Kurigakure some time ago and settled the war with one person. That's right. The rise of this person is a step-by-step, and it is easy to gain the identity of the Konoha ninja. He is also the director of the Konoha hospital himself, and has treated countless people with his superb ninjutsu skills. In the village, he has a high prestige. If this person is on the battlefield, even if he does nothing, it will improve the morale of the army. Dodai breathed a sigh of relief and shook his head. Can't let it. He gathers the army and gathers the strength. If we give him enough time, we are afraid that we will be dragged into the quagmire of war in this battle. He didn't say defeat, because in his heart, he felt that the powerful Kumogakure village could not be defeated by Konoha. In terms of the number of ninjas, on the battlefield, Konoha only had more than 5,000 people, while Kumogakure had 7,000 elites from a single powerhouse. There are currently only Gongyi, Ino Shikacho 3 people on the opposite side of Konoha. On his side, the only strong people who have Kekkei Genkei, there are Dodai, Darui, and Samui, who seem to be delicate, but in fact, they are extremely tyrannical with one-handed swordsmanship. In addition to these, the most important thing is one more thing. In the Kumogakure army, there is still a tailed beast called Jinchuriki Column Force. He is the kind of person who can fully mobilize the power of the tailed beast. Jinchuriki Column Force. The Dark Blue Devil has a firm foothold and will launch an all-out attack tomorrow. Dodai drank and made a decision. All the Jonin present agreed, and no one resisted. In Konoha camp, after welcoming Gongyi, the ninjas returned to their proper positions. Either guarding the guard, or resting in place. There are also those who are responsible for the maintenance of the ninja tools. Gongyi was walking on the dirt road laid out by the camp, next to a frowning Nara Shikaku. Master Shikaku, I am here, why are you still frowning? Gongyi smiled and waved at several ninjas who looked over, but he was talking to Nara Shikaku. Nara Shikaku shook his head. Of course I'm happy that you came. Now the morale in the camp is boosted, and the ninjas are not as pessimistic as before. But I'm still very worried about this war. Nara Shikaku stopped abruptly and asked, why didn't the village arrange reinforcements for you when you came? Gongyi smiled, teacher, don't you think that under the excitement of the crowd, the higher-ups had to push me out? Will they give me another strength to support me? Damn. Nara Shikaku squeezed his fist, aren't they afraid of defeat? Hihi Gongyi chuckled twice and said leisurely, war has always been just a continuation of politics. On the battlefield are nothing but chips for the exchange of interests. I think, in addition to the battlefield, the village is engaged in a political game with the Kingdom of Thunder. Nara Shikaku's eyes widened suddenly. You mean, Lord Hokage and the others, it is possible for them to seek peace with the Land of Thunder. Judging from the original book, this battle is indeed Konoha seeking peace with the Land of Thunder. Even later, the Country of Thunder sent people to Konoha to sign a peace treaty, and by the way, forced Hyuga Hazashi to death. Gongyi is very clear that he can come out to command the army, but the high level can't stand the pressure. But no one wants to see that they lead the Konoha army to win this war. Once he wins, Gongyi's prestige will completely peak. Then the next 5 generations of Hokage, as long as Gongyi does not make mistakes in the middle, he will be his. To stop him from winning the war, but not let Konoha lose, and actively seek peace, is the best solution. Gongyi put his hands on his back and walked towards his own command camp. Behind him, Nara Shikaku got a little excited. We fought hard on the battlefield, and we didn't lose. How can the top level show weakness? Even the battle with Iwagakure village was completely passive. But it was also after 4 generations of Hokage won local battles that we approached the truce with a victorious attitude. What the hell is the top thinking? Gong Yi said indifferently, Master Shikaku, when you were assisting the 4th generation, you were considered a high-ranking Konoha. Don't you understand what they're thinking? Nara Shikaku stopped and looked at Gong Yi blankly. It's against you. Hee, maybe it's not just targeting me. Gong Yi smiled casually. I guess in their hearts, they didn't think that Konoha could win this war. Pessimism spreads. Nara Shikaku is a little disappointed. He is a smart person. No matter how he analyzes it, he really thinks that it is almost impossible for Konoha to win this war. No, Gong Yi, Lord Jiraiya, is here too. We have a chance. Nara Shikaku's eyes lit up and seemed to have found a breakthrough. If there are Gong Yi and Jiraiya, 2 cage-level powerhouses on the battlefield, they can completely dominate the direction of a war. Even if you can't win, you can hold on to it. Gong Yi can certainly feel Jiraiya's presence. Since he stepped into the camp, he has been paying attention to the powerful chakra aura in the rear. But in his opinion, this war does not need Jiraiya at all. You're worrying too much, Shikaku. I'll be enough for this battle. Gong Yi said lightly, in a tone that could not be rejected, full of strong and unparalleled confidence. Philo reminds you, 3 things to read, collection, push the latest chapter Baidu search 99 Playmate find 99 Novel Network and LT, please keep the collection this paragraph, otherwise block the collection of IP. Chapter 226. Potential pressure on Jiraiya, 5th more. Facing Gong Yi's strong self-confidence, Nara Shikaku was shocked for a while. He almost never saw such a domineering Gong Yi. But thinking of Gong Yi's feat of killing a village by himself last time, he also instantly understood. It is natural for a person with such strength to be domineering and arrogant. Need to meet Jiraiya. Gong Yi narrowed his eyes and nodded. I'll go see him alone. I also want to know what meaningful things he has done over the years when he left the village. Sleeve, Gong Yi moved in the direction of Jiraiya. Nara Shikaku stood behind and looked at his back, initially just sighing. But then his face changed. As Gong Yi progressed, his momentum rose by 1% with almost every step he took. And at the back, that kind of aura like a mountain like a sea, almost made people bow their heads subconsciously, not daring to wait and see. Nara Shikaku opened his mouth wide, stunned. Jiraiya certainly felt 3-2-2-0. That kind of aggressive aura, frowned. No matter what he said, he was also one of the most powerful people in the village. He had been famous for a long time, and he was still an elder. How can a junior be suppressed? Not to be outdone, he suddenly released his momentum, and the huge chakra lingered up. It's just that when he reached the most powerful, Gong Yi's aura was still climbing. Hi! How could he be so strong? Jiraiya's face changed greatly. If he didn't turn on Sage mode, he would definitely not be able to suppress Gong Yi's aura. It's just that before he can start Sage mode, Gong Yi has come to his side. 3 years apart, Jiraiya, your strength has improved a lot. Gong Yi used to call Jiraiya an adult, but now, with his status, it doesn't have to be so. His first name is his correct attitude. Jiraiya's face was a little ugly. Do and dare. Young man, it's really out of blue. I'm far from what you've done. Oh, can I take this as your accusation against me? Gong Yi's eyes narrowed slightly. Jiraiya frowned. Not afraid, there are some things that should not be affected by civilians. This is blaming him for what he did in the village of Kurigakure. In fact, Gong Yi has indeed been criticized. Especially for people like Jiraiya, who are kind-hearted and advocating peace. Gong Yi shook his head and said in disapproval, Jiraiya, you have no right to accuse me. Wait, Jiraiya retorted, Gong Yi no. He said hurriedly, if you stayed in the village, then I, Konoha, wouldn't be here. The civilians who died in the Kyubi, Nine Tails, upheaval were no less than the Kurigakure civilians I killed. You, an indirect accomplice in killing the Konoha villagers. Under the pressure of Gong Yi's momentum, Jiraiya had nothing to say in the face of these words. Suddenly, Gong Yi put away the monstrous aura, and his expression became eased. Facing the embarrassed Jiraiya, Gong Yi chuckled. The words are a bit heavy, but you should understand that these words actually represent the attitude of the Konoha ninja. Jiraiya lowered his head, he could feel his own attitude, exactly as Gong Yi said. Village has spent so much effort to cultivate itself, but it needs him the most. There is nothing more disappointing and angry than one defecting, two leaving. He whispered, I want to participate in this battle and do my best for Konoha. Gong Yi didn't answer directly, instead asked another one. You searched for Orochimaru, what was the result? Jiraiya was stunned for a while, then subconsciously said, no result, he hardly appeared in various countries, only heard that he joined an organization called Akatsuki. Oh, Akatsuki. Gong Yi looked at Jiraiya with a half-smile, I heard that this organization was established by a ninja named Yahiko from the Land of Rain. I once had a relationship with Yahiko and his other two companions. In my opinion, their strength does not seem to be enough for Orochimaru to take refuge. Jiraiya's expression changed, and she said suspiciously, to be honest, Yahiko and the other two companions you mentioned were once my disciples. But they died in the Third War. Akatsuki now. Perhaps, you can continue to investigate, maybe you will find something amazing. Gong Yi smiled, turned and walked out. Jiraiya was still immersed in his words. When Gong Yi turned around, he suddenly woke up. 4. My arrangements on the battlefield, you are the commander, do you have any suggestions? Gong Yi turned around abruptly with a cold tone. Those who leave should not interfere again. Jiraiya excitedly said, this is a matter of the village, I have an obligation and a responsibility to help the village. This victory or defeat has nothing to do with you. Gong Yi. Jiraiya. Gong Yi's eyebrows moved, and Sage Art Chakra suddenly flowed out, dazzling white light pouring out of his body. The momentum was even greater than before, in an instant, like a surging flood. Jiraiya's face turned pale, and she couldn't help but take 3 steps back. Sage mode. Humph. Gong Yi snorted coldly and left the place. Jiraiya still stays there. No wonder Gong Yi is full of confidence, he actually mastered Sage Art. And that feeling, that kind of instantly entering Sage mode, seems to be stronger than his own Sage mode. That year, ask yourself the teenagers related to Sage Art have grown to such a level now. If he turned on Sage mode calmly, how would he compare to him? Jiraiya smiled sadly, maybe he really shouldn't be on the battlefield. Midnight, quiet inside the tent. Gong Yi sat cross-legged, his eyes opened as if closed. There was a faint movement in the air. If there is an extremely strong person here, as long as you stand outside the tent, you will find that there seems to be some terrifying monster entrenched in it. That kind of, the momentum that is getting more and more gushing, but being forcibly suppressed, is constantly ups and downs, and is advancing layer by layer. Drink. Gong Yi snorted coldly, his aura suddenly gathered, and in an instant, he became, like an ordinary person without a little chakra. Opening his eyes, 2 seeds of 2 divine consciousness were embedded in his pupils like stars. Hashirama cell fusion progress, 10 completed. The blood in the body is rushing, the bones are humming, and countless cells begin to tremble. Faintly, something transformed in Gong Yi's body. Gong Yi felt this change attentively, and seemed to feel that the whole world had become more intimate with him. Descendants of Otsutsuki, blood of immortals. Gong Yi stretched out his hand and looked at the fair skin, no longer as pale as before, but with blood. At the fusion stage of Hashirama cells, the skin color of the whole person will be eerily pale. That's Hashirama cells doing the trick. But once the fusion is successful, make this power your own. 1. The skin color will show the normal changes of the host. Gong Yi's mind moved, and the 8 doors in his body opened one by one. Open. Hue. Health. Injury. Do. Jing. At the juncture of the 7th gate, Gong Yi had a feeling that he could take this step at any time as long as he wanted to. Even without reckless consequences, even the 8th door can be opened briefly. 11 years of physical exercise, coupled with the fusion of Hashirama cells, has finally come to this point. It can be said that with physical skills alone, he can already stand at the top of the ninja world. But that's not enough. Gong Yi's eyes gleamed, and the two seeds of consciousness kept turning. Uchiha Itachi, Uchiha Shisui, I wonder if your Tsukuyomi, Kotoamatsukami, will work for me. Thanks to Zonling Xiao, just like that, love fans, you, Yishi Luoluo, for the reward of these brothers. Thank you very much. To read the Chapter 227. Kurigakur-ku. At the end of Konoha 51. Just when countless eyes were focused on the land of soup, when Konoha and Kumogakure were at war, there was a village that fell into a strange silence. Kurigakure Village. During this period of time, Kurigakure Village has completely shrunk, and all the troops in the Land of Fire have also been withdrawn. Prevent other villages from entering while taking advantage of it. Especially when various buildings in the village have been destroyed, someone needs to rebuild their homes. It's not surprising to the outside world for the silent village of Kurigakure. Dead of night, the Kurigakure village was filled with an atmosphere of pain that should have been after the war, and there was a faint sound of sobbing, which came from the place where the villagers were resettled. A seductive woman walked out of a stone house, took off the Anbu mask, and stood in the moonlight. As she appeared, more and more ninjas gathered silently. 1, 2, 10 10s, 50 50s. Everyone's here. Ching said solemnly. Terumi Mei nodded, took a deep breath, and waved her hand. Action. The Kurigakure coup started silently on the night of the full moon. This group of ninjas are all Terumi Mei's confidants, the forces she has secretly drawn and subdued over the years. After she told everyone that their Mizukage, Sama had been controlled and turned into a puppet, everyone agreed with Terumi Mei's plan. Launch a coup and kill the puppet Karataki Yagura. Only in this way can the village of Kurigakure be pulled back from the abyss. And the time to start the plan is stuck in the battle between Kumogakure and Konoha. Only in this way can we not be disturbed by other villages. When Terumi Mei brought people close to Yagura's residence, a ninja who was hiding nearby appeared. Sir, Yagura is not here. Terumi Mei 29 frowned. Karataki Yagura didn't stay where he should be. Where would he go? Troops, to suppress their coup plans. Ching suddenly said, will he be suppressing the forbidden area of the 6 tails? Terumi Mei's eyes lit up, and a beautiful voice came out of his mouth. It is very likely that he has always wanted to be a 3-tailed Jinchuriki column force. But the 3 tails. Now the 6 tails have lost their Jinchuriki column power and can only be locked in the forbidden area. Yagura might go there if he wants to. Follow me. 50-50 ninjas followed her and quickly headed towards the forbidden area of Kurigakure. Mr. Madara, do you really want to make Yagura a Jinchuriki column force of the 6-tailed man? Kisame Hoshigaki stood aside, looking at the little figure lying quietly on the abyss of the trench. Next to the figure, is Uchiha Obito wearing a mask. Masked man chuckled. Yagura's strength is already very strong. But against a master like the dark blue demon, it seems too powerless. He becomes the Jinchuriki column force of the 6-tailed man. We can better control the village of Kurigakure for us. You don't have to worry about anything. With my Sharingan, it is very simple to control the tailed beast to be obediently sealed. After saying these words, the masked man's expression suddenly changed. Someone is here. Ghost Shark, you go out to block them. I need time to complete the sealing technique here. Kisame Hoshigaki nodded, and walked out with the big sword shark on his back. Standing in the dark tunnel, Kisame Hoshigaki sensed the person coming, and found that there were many familiar scents inside. Stop. It's you, Kisame Hoshigaki. Someone was surprised and seemed a little unbelievable. Believe. Terumi Mei stepped forward. Missing Ninkasame Hoshigaki, why are you here? Kisame Hoshigaki didn't want to explain, but instead asked, what are you doing here? A ninja behind him said, Karataki Yagura is being controlled, and the entire Kurigakure village is being manipulated. As a member of the village, we want to change all of this. The ghost shark's expression moved slightly and looked behind him. At this moment, Ching shouted loudly. Rush in. Terumi Mei spit forward and Yoden, lava style, made his way. Filled with corrosive mucus, it poured out. Kisame Hoshigaki frowned and avoided it. But after Terumi Mei and Ao rushed over, he stopped more than 20 ninjas. Terumi Mei glanced at the ghost shark in surprise. According to the information, the ghost's strength is very strong. It was so strong that Yagura was afraid, and even forced him out of the village and became a missing nin. Why does the ghost shark face his own ninjutsu, but he can't stop this problem? There is no need to think, the top priority, the Karataki Yagura inside. Hundreds of meters of tunnels, rushed through. Terumi Mei and Ao, as well as more than 20 powerful ninjas, stopped abruptly. In front of them, Karataki Yagura was watching them with faint eyes. In those eyes, the strange pupils kept turning. Sharingan. Terumi Mei's face was resentful. As expected, you have been controlled. Karataki Yagura did not speak, her body was a little stiff. A voice suddenly came from the dark, kill them, Yagura. Karataki Yagura moved, waving a coral stick, and rushed up directly. Terumi Mei silver kiba bites when she senses someone in the dark. You look around, find that secret person, Yagura to me. Both hands began to quickly hand seal. Terumi Mei did not show weakness to Karataki Yagura. Sweeten, water style, great waterfall. Karataki Yagura also hand seal, sweeten, water style, great waterfall. Almost the same sweeten, water style, two huge waterfalls, washed down towards each other. Boom! The explosion sounded, like a waterfall smashing into a deep pool, and there was an echo. Ching stood aside, took off his blindfold, and looked around with a foggy eye. Byakugan. Just as he watched, the wind blew, and a round of Yuhi's black Uzumaki opened up behind him. A person came out of it. Kaden, fire style, fierce dragon flame jutsu. Large flames poured out, and the Kurigakure ninja was caught off guard and instantly killed 5 people. Uchiha. It's Uchiha's man. Blue's face changed suddenly, and based on Sharingan and this powerful Kaden, fire style, ninjutsu, he immediately judged that the enemy was Uchiha. Terumi Mei was very angry. It turns out that it was Uchiha, Yagura who controlled you. How do you see the 3 generations of Mizukage who trust you? Resisting her attack, Yagura said, I'm already a 6-tailed Jinchuiki column force. The one who died today will be you, and the one who goes to see the 3 generations of Mizukage will also be you. Haha, joke. Terumi Mei looked crazy, and the attack became more and more fierce. The ninja who has just become a human Jinchuriki, column power, can't control the power of the tailed beast at all. Today I'm going to kill you to avenge those. The ninjas who were killed by you and forced away. Futon, vapor style, skillful fog boils the sea. A large piece of fog is used, and the Kurigakure assassination technique is used, but the Futon, vapor style, feature is added, and the whole piece of fog is constantly boiling. Its high temperature can really boil the sea and burn the mountain. Karataki Yagura's expression remained unchanged, and the water mirror technique was shown again, but the inside. Terumi Mei, before she walked out, the whole mirror was pierced by a water arrow. You think I don't know your ninjutsu skills? Terumi Mei came prepared and almost touched the bottom of Karataki Yagura. How to deal with it is clear in your mind. Hearing the constant screams from behind, Terumi Mei bit Kiba and frantically attacked Karataki Yagura. The masked man disappeared into the space again, and out took the 10 ninjas who were still alive to be careful. Uchiha Obito hides behind a rock, looking gloomy. Who has just become a Jinchuriki column force, has not increased but decreased in combat power. Not only the control of chakra, but also the timing of releasing ninjutsu is much weaker than before. Addition, many proud ninjutsu are known by Terumi Mei, and now they are not opponents of Terumi Mei at all. It can almost be said that being pressed and beaten is dangerous. Even if I kill more Kurigakure ninjas on my side, if Karataki Yagura dies, it won't help. Deep breath, Obito made up his mind. Through the mask, Mangekyo Sharingan turned slightly. He wants to control Terumi Mei with demonic illusion. Now that Terumi Mei is in a fighting state and distracted, it's a good opportunity. A strange wave unfolded. Terumi Mei looked at it subconsciously, and instantly fell into the Sharingan demonic illusion. At this critical moment, Obito drank. Yagura, kill her. Unexpectedly, Karataki Yagura stayed in place stiffly, motionless. Something went wrong. Before Obito could react, a golden light suddenly flew out of Terumi Mei's eyes and stabbed Obito. Ah! A scream, Obito started space ninjutsu and disappeared into the Kurigakure forbidden area. Terumi Mei woke up instantly, almost instinctively, and released a sweetened, water-style ninjutsu to prevent 320 attacks from being approached. Sweetened, water-style, water dragon bullet. A ninjutsu that is not so strong, but also very powerful. However, without stopping, it hit Karataki Yagura. Boom! Even if the power is average, the ninja's body is not much stronger. Karataki Yagura flew out upside down, vomiting blood in his mouth and his eyes were confused. Ching and a few others rushed over to protect Terumi Mei from being attacked. Terumi Mei shook her head, clearing the uncomfortable feeling from her mind. Walking up to Karataki Yagura, he looked puzzled. Looking at Terumi Mei, the dying Yagura grinned. I didn't expect that I would have such an ending. You. Terumi Mei looked at him hesitantly. Yagura lay in front of the abyss, and scenes flashed through her mind. That was what he had done under control, and now that he woke up, he only felt bitter. What is your own life? Terumi Mei, I appoint you as the 5th generation Mizukage to lead the village of Kurigakure. In my body, the 6-tailed seal is not very stable, and it will dissipate after I die. Now, you take it out and trap it in the blockade set up by the original Mizukage. After that, you can find the right Jinchuriki column force. Karataki Yagura sadly ordered all this. His breath was getting weaker and weaker. Terumi Mei was still puzzled, but the last words Karataki Yagura said seemed to have been said by him while he was awake. In this way, his position as the 5th generation Mizukage can be considered legitimate. Behind him, there are other ninja witnesses, and when he goes outside to preach, it can be explained clearly. With a sigh, Terumi Mei no longer hesitated, and with the help of Yagura's last chakra, she took the initiative to unlock the 6-tailed seal. When the 6 tails appear, they will not have time to go wild. Terumi Mei used the power of the sealed land to trap it. A big ninja village, after all, needs the strategic power of the tail beast to deter other villages. But looking at Yagura's body, she remained silent. Who was beside her, suddenly asked, what is that golden light that flew out of your eyes just now? Chapter 228. Doden, Earth Style, Landslide. The second Tentenming, in the stunned state of thousands of Kurigakure ninjas, a message was released. 4 generations of Mizukage, Karataki Yagura died in battle. Died in missing Nin Kisame Hoshigaki and a Uchiha tribe with Sharingan. Before his death, the Anbu captain Terumi Mei was appointed as the 5th generation Mizukage. Kurigakure ninjas were a little stunned by this news. However, there were also some ninjas who felt the fluctuations of the battle last night, and after investigating the battle location, they did come to the existence of Kisame Hoshigaki. The wound caused by the shark muscle is very characteristic, and it can be seen at a glance. As for the existence of the Uchiha tribe, the trace is on the ground. Kaden fire-style ninjutsu burns can also be detected. Kurigakure ninja, good at Kaden fire style but few. There are still some people who have an opinion on the appointment of Terumi Mei as the 5th generation Mizukage. Terumi Mei lives in Anbu all year round, and there are not many villagers who know her. However, all opposition, without support, and Terumi Mei's great strength, all vanished. 2 kinds of Kekkei Genkei. The whole village, no more. Can't find such a powerful ninja. Of a village must be the most powerful person, only in this way can the villagers be protected. Especially after the Dark Blue Demon incident, many people are already dissatisfied with the weakness of the 4th generation of Mizukage. Now replaced by Terumi Mei, many villagers support her instead. After the simple ascending ceremony, Terumi Mei did not do anything else, just instructed the ninjas to help the villagers and continue to rebuild their homes. Revenge for the 4th generation of Mizukage, not many people have mentioned it. From the Kurigakure villagers' point of view, it was a mistake for Yagura to force Kisame Hoshigaki away and not to kill these geniuses and powerhouses, and even persecute other Kekkei Genkei powerhouses. Doing so will only reduce the strength of the village. If Yagura hadn't done this, at least when the Dark Blue Demons invaded Kurigakure village, the village would not have suffered such a heavy price. This time Kisame Hoshigaki came back for revenge, but many people were happy. Photo. Mizukage, Sama, everything has been arranged. Ching hesitated for a while, but took back the old name. Terumi Mei stood on a high tower overlooking the rebuilt village of Kurigakure, heartbroken. Oneself, a woman, actually became a Mizukage. Although it was a coup d'état, it was indeed appointed by 4 generations of Mizukage. Presumably so, she gave Yagura a decent death. Die fighting against foreign enemies, not at the hands of her own. However, when she thinks that there was once a man who mentioned that she would definitely become the 5th generation Mizukage, she felt a little uneasy. Rubbing his forehead subconsciously, Terumi Mei had one thing that made her even more uneasy. Obviously, that Uchiha powerhouse yesterday used Sharingan demonic illusion on her. At that time, she fought with all her strength, and was caught off guard when she was caught off guard. But, that golden light should have been left by that man. Quote. Terumi Mei made a judgment. She vaguely remembered that when she was fighting with the 3-tailed Jinchuiki column, the man stabbed her brain with a strange ninjutsu. I thought it had disappeared before. Now that I think about it, that weird thing still remains in my mind. Until yesterday, it worked, instantly breaking the demonic illusion of the strong Uchiha, and even launched a counterattack. Now, in my mind, is there that ninjutsu? Mizukage, Sama, do you have other things to tell me? Terumi Mei woke up suddenly, looked at Ching, and hesitated for a while. You collect the sweetened water-style ninjutsu in the village, no matter what. Is high level or low level, all are collected. Ching looked at her suspiciously. Terumi Mei thought for a while and explained, Konoha has a book of seals, which records the powerful ninjutsu of the ancestors. When there are suitable geniuses in the village, they can learn it and give birth to strong men one after another. Ching nodded, it was true. No matter what. Is Yellow Flash, Deep Devil, or other Konoha ninjas, most of them inherited the ninjutsu of the previous generations of strong men in Konoha village. But not in my Kurigakure village. Think of my original Mizukage, which was on an equal footing with the existence of Senju Hashirama. 2nd generation Mizukage also perished with the 2nd generation Tsuchikage, powerful but their signature ninjutsu, but nothing remains. The more she talked, the more Terumi Mei found a reason for her actions. My idea is, let me do work like the sealed book. Collect enough ninjutsu, save it, and wait until a genius appears, or a strong person makes a contribution. They can learn these ninjutsu skills. Make sure my Kurigakure village heritage goes on. Terumi Mei was a little guilty, but felt that her idea was really good. Trading with that man is one thing, and doing so is really beneficial to the village. As for whether or not to trade with that man, Terumi Mei pursed Yuhiran's mouth and looked into the distance. There is the land of soup, and the battlefield between Konoha and Kumogakure. If Gong Yi loses, Jiraiya-sama is gone. Nara Shikaku said in shock. His eyes fell on Gong Yi involuntarily. Gong Yi should have a conversation with Jiraiya if he guessed correctly. After that, Jiraiya left. Gong Yi glanced at him calmly. He shouldn't have come. But, phew, the wind sounded, a ninja appeared in the tent, saw Gong Yi, and immediately reported the situation. The Kumogakure ninja army is changing, it is gathering, the vanguard is coming towards us. Nara Shikaku's expression changed greatly. How is it possible, so fast? Gong Yi stood, smoothed the folds of his robe, and walked slowly towards the door. Walked, he said, the Kumogakure side should know that I'm here. My lack of firm footing and not familiar with the situation of the troops, to take advantage of the situation and catch us by surprise. Nara Shikaku smiled wryly. This is probably both pros and cons. The arrival of Gong Yi, fair and bright, although it has inspired the morale of the army, it is easy for people to find information. The current situation. When passing by Shikaku, Gong Yi issued an order. Assemble the troops and stand by in Yuhi Yunshin, the country of soup. The country of soup is famous for its hot soup. The so-called hot soup means warm izumi. The origin of warm izumi is mostly caused by excessive geothermal heat. In places where there is a lot of geothermal heat, it is often accompanied by a large number of volcanic accumulations. Yuhi Yunshin is the mountain range with the largest number of volcanic groups in the country of Yuno, and it is also the most unstable area. In the country of Tang dynasty don't come here very often. When the war between Konoha and Kumogakure broke out, it became the most suitable battlefield. The terrain is empty, and the land was washed by the volcanic eruption and the rolling lava 10 years ago, and it became flat. Very suitable for the two armies to confront each other, fight and compete. Nara Shikaku did not hesitate to gather all the ninja army of Konoha in one place, and set off towards Yuhi Cloud mightily. It's just that when he set off, he looked around suspiciously. Where's Mr. Gong Yi? The other ninjas are also at a loss, not knowing where Gong Yi is going. Yuhi Yunshin, the sky is blue, the earth is empty and flat. Looking far away, it is boundless and seems to be able to see the horizon. This day, a figure in a white robe, alone, came to the foot of Yuhi Cloud Mountain. There was a faint sound of ground shaking in my ears. It was the Kumogakure army that had assembled first and set off immediately. They will arrive at the Yuhi Yunshin battlefield one step ahead of Konoha and set up a formation. Just that no matter how fast they are not as fast as Gong Yi alone. Standing under the Yuhi Cloud Mountain, looking at the highest volcano, above it, there is an endless sky. There are no clouds, only a blue sky. The white-robed figure's mouth turned up slightly. This mountain is called Yuhi Cloud. How can there not be a Yuhi Cloud? Wow! Sage Art Chakra rushes out from the Yin Seal. Sage Mode, turned on instantly. Pale white strange energy surrounded him. Sometimes twisted like a snake, sometimes circling like a dragon. Hissing, a low roar, ups and downs, endlessly. Both hands began to hand seal, but it was not as fast as before, but every seal was completed very slowly. The huge Sage Art Chakra keeps coming together with Gong Yi's hand seal. In a full minute, even Kumogakure's 1,000 strong forward force had already arrived at the battlefield. Who is that? What is he doing? Could it be Konoha's? I know, he is. The dark blue devil, Gong Yi. What he's doing, it's like in hand seal. No matter what. Whatever he does, stop him first. The rapid voice kept ringing. Thousands of Kumogakure ninjas, led by the leading elite Jonin, rushed towards Gong Yi with murderous aura. Kill Gong Yi before the army arrives, this will be a great achievement. Gong Yi glanced at them, and finished the last seal in a hurry. Immediately, a palm hit the ground. Doton, Earth-style, landslide. Boom. A bang, shaking the world. Countless ninjas whose ears were buzzing and chakra disordered suddenly stopped. In their stunned sight, the nearby volcano suddenly exploded. The figure in the white robe stood up, turned around, smiled, and opened his hands wide, like a hug. Behind him, a sky-high fire Jinchuriki column, with a huge roar, shot straight into the sky. And that blue sky was dyed into fire in an instant. Yuhi. And LT, otherwise collection will be banned. IP. Chapter 229. The Power of the Palm of the Sky. Third more. The volcano erupted, and the magma poured out. The 1,000 Kumogakure vanguard troops who rushed down the mountain almost ran into it head-on. Just an instant, there were countless screams. The fiery magma, no matter whether you are a human or an animal, is crushed by a single strand. Ah! Help! It's so hot, ah! When Kumogakure's army of 6,000 people arrived at the battlefield, what they saw was this scene. Horrific, as if the world was destroyed. And under the Yuhi cloud in the sky and the billowing lava, a white figure stepped out slowly. The overwhelming magma, when it touches him, will be directly swept away by the white energy surrounding him. Like a rushing river, it encounters a hard stone and takes a gentle detour. Dodai's pupils shrank, looking at this world-destroying scene, his body trembled a little. Can manpower actually do this? Darui, Samui and the others, who were leading the small troops, were also shocked and stood stiffly in the east of the Yuhi Cloud Mountains. Gong Yi is very satisfied. This avalanche technique is another self-created ninjutsu he has studied for many years in Doden Earth-style ninjutsu. Based on the fusion of ninjutsu, rock lodging destruction, and ninjutsu swamp of the underworld. Find the Earth's veins through chakra, swamp of the underworld ninjutsu characteristics, soften the soil, and then use the characteristics of cracking earth and turning palms and rock lodging destruction to crack mountains. This has the effect of landslides and fissures. For active volcanoes whose structure is not rigorous, the effect is even more unexpectedly good. One move, the volcano bursts, magma erupts, and with the power of nature, thousands of ninjas are instantly killed. However, this technique also has disadvantages. The activation time is too slow, the hand seal program is too complicated, and it often takes a long time to prepare. He came here in advance, also to launch this technique in an orderly manner. Gong Yi stood alone in front of the Kumogakure army before the lava billowed. Behind him, an army of Konoha after another, came together. Facing this scene, the Inoshika-cho troops, shocked, all cheered. Before the war began, such a great victory had already been achieved. Lord Gong Yi, you are truly invincible. In the dark, there are intelligence ninjas from other countries watching this scene. Being horrified, they all recorded Gong Yi's strength and prepared to report it to their respective villages. A man wearing a Yuhi cloud cloak with a solemn expression. Alter terrain and destroy mountains with manpower. I have only seen this kind of power in the original Hokage Senju Hashirama. This son. Zhao, all frowned, he suddenly remembered Gong Yi. Deep Blue Devil, back then, I could only barely behead one of my Kaden, fire-style, hearts, but now it's so powerful. Jiraiya was sitting on a huge branch and saw this scene too. Although he said he left, but in his heart, he couldn't let go of Konoha. So secretly followed to the battlefield. If the situation of the Konoha army is unfavorable, even if Gong Yi is not happy, he will do his best to help the Konoha army. However, seeing Gong Yi's powerful ninjutsu, he subconsciously swallowed. His sage mode is perfect. Not only can you instantly enter the state, but the power of ninjutsu used is also stronger than my sage mode. I don't know if Minato is still alive, the two of them are equally famous, and their strength is comparable to Gong Yi. Dead people, no matter what. In people's hearts, multiple weights. But there is one thing that cannot be changed. That is their strength, it has stopped and continues. The living people, on the other hand, can continue to progress and move towards a higher realm. Gong Yi slowly raised his hand, and his voice, with the assistance of chakra, directly spread throughout the battlefield. Konoha ninja, do ent. Come forward. Hearing this, Konoha ninja couldn't help looking at each other. Even Yamanaka Inoichi and others were surprised. Shikaku, what tactic is this? Nara Shikaku took a deep breath. Maybe Gongyi-sama's strength is beyond our imagination. Akamichi Choza's big eyes turned wildly, and his expression was extremely excited. Really, man, Lord Gongyi, is this another feat of killing one village by one person? I can't wait to come forward and fight side by side with him. There are not a few people who have the idea of Choza. However, Gongyi's order was there. Nara Shikaku added a few more words, and everyone was suppressed. Today, they will witness a myth. When a person's strength reaches an unimaginable level, the number of people has no meaning. Kill him. Dodai let out a loud shout, his face full of killing intent. The dark blue demon is so arrogant, he will be killed here today. Does he think that my Kumogakure village is a kind of weak existence like Kurigakure village? Kill this guy and look down on my Kumogakure village. Raiden Thunder style, Thunder Tiger kill. Die, dark blue demon. Facing the overwhelming army of ninjas, Gongyi smiled. The ground beneath his feet trembled slightly, and a thick stone Jinchuriki column supported him and rose from the ground. An instant, he stood on a high place and looked down at the Kumogakure army. Hand seal with both hands, a heavy voice suddenly sounded. Behind him, a big black and yellow hand covering the sky and the sun slapped it fiercely with an unstoppable gesture. A Kumogakure ninja is rushing forward with the main force, intending to approach Gongyi and perform ninjutsu. However, when he was running, he suddenly found that the sky became dark, and the light seemed to be squeezed out. Raised his head, a huge palm filled with lines wrapped him in it. He had a look of despair in his eyes, and it seemed that he could no longer escape. Not the only one in the same situation as him, there are hundreds of people in this army alone. Doden, Earth style, palms up. Gongyi gave a soft drink, and Zanhuang's big hand pressed directly on the center of the army. Pop! There is no roar, just the earth shaking, dull echoes, and the screams of many ninjas before they die. Zanhuang raised his big hand again, the ground was full of flesh and blood, and no one survived. With just one blow, hundreds of people can be killed. The power of this technique is so powerful that if you touch it, you will die, and you will change color when you see it. In this way, Zanhuang raised his big hand to a certain extent and swept it from left to right. Hundreds of people were directly shot, or seriously injured, or died directly. A group of strong men led by Kumogakure village were horrified. This is not even close, there are heavy casualties, and what will be the next fight? Just when they panicked, there was a commanding voice that was in danger from behind. This technique is powerful, but the speed is too slow. Everyone spreads out and moves forward alternately. Do ent. Concentrate. The voice of Commander, Kumogakure Jonin Dodai. Although shocked by the powerful ninjutsu power of Gongyi's master, he quickly found a way to deal with it. Under his command, the Kumogakure army, all dispersed, no longer assembled to fight. Instead, they moved forward one by one, at their own fastest speed. Gongyi clapped twice more with the big hand of Xuanwang, only taking away a few dozen people. He couldn't help shaking his head. Even powerful ninjutsu has flaws. 4. Doden Earth style ninjutsu is slow and hard to improve. But is this the only way for him? Gongyi chuckled, a seed of divine consciousness, turning it slightly. When hundreds of ninjas approached him, they jumped up, trying to kill him on the tall stone Jinchuriki column. A monstrous sea of fire erupted in an instant. Senpo, Sage Art Majestic Destroyer Flame, Great Fire Annihilation. Instant ninjutsu, too fast, and Kaden Fire style, has the advantage of covering a large area. Almost caught off guard, this group of ninjas were screaming and vanishing. In the sky, the ashes from the eruption of the volcano and the ashes from the burning of the ninja floated. The Yuhi cloud covers the earth, and the magma is still spewing. White figure standing on the tall Jinchuriki column, like a fairy, Can't inspiring. Crime. Phailu reminds you. Chapter 230. In the face of this devastating blow from the Sea of Fire, Kumogakur's attack stopped in an instant. Everyone stopped moving forward. The fearful voice of swallowing saliva kept coming out. Why is this person so strong? His ninjutsu is extremely powerful, and its coverage is beyond the imagination of ordinary people. And it can also be instant. Even if you get close to him, can you kill him? Facing the Kumogakur army, who was sluggish and hesitant, Gong Yi grinned. Don't dare to come. Then I'll come. With his right hand stretched out, a golden long sword slowly emerged. Feet, his body flew out like catkins and goose feathers. Seen slow, but at the speed of Gong Yisage mode, it was in the blink of an eye, and it came to the center of the Kumogakur unit. Good chance, kill him. Kunai, shuriken, and detonating talisman, all threw them over. It also contains the ninjutsu released by the surrounding ninjas. Faced with all this, Gong Yi turned around. Swish. With a swipe of the long sword in his hand, a person's life goes to the west. At his speed, these attacks with average speed and power, almost all of them could not touch him. Like a butterfly wearing flowers, Gong Yi moves freely among the crowd. Everywhere I went, someone almost died. When it came to a crowded place, Gong Yi's long sword was directly inserted into the ground. Golden burial, sha, 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 endless golden sword tips drilled out from the ground. The sharpness not only pierced the ground, but also caused the nearby ninjas to scream. The technique of ground burial is improved according to the characteristics of Doden, Earth-style, rock Jinchuriki column gun. With the sharpness and speed of Jindun chakra, the effect is several times better than that of the Jinchuriki column gun. Seeing that dozens of ninjas screamed and died, Gong Yi was still not satisfied. The long sword is retracted, and both hands begin to hand seal. Multiple shadow clone techniques, huge chakra flows, and in the blink of an eye, 49 Gong Yi's shadow clone appear. On the way to the battlefield, Gong Yi didn't go to practice Mokuden, wood-style ninjutsu, there was no time at all. In comparison, multiple shadow clone techniques can bring a quick boost to his strength. The main body of Gong Yi hides in it and drinks it lightly. Kill. 49 shadow clone drank together, kill. With Gong Yi's strength, even his shadow clone has the strength of Jonin. The clones scurried away suddenly, and in the army, with high-speed movements, they continued to kill the enemy. Meantime, all kinds of ninjutsu are at your fingertips. Rasengan, Doden Earth-style ninjutsu, Kaden Fire-style ninjutsu, taijutsu, used in succession. Killing an army with one person sounds spectacular, but in fact, it is extremely dangerous. The enemy can rely on crowd tactics to grind you to death. But there are also advantages. That is, great ninjutsu, which can be performed at will, without worrying about accidentally hurting allies. Because of this, Gong Yi did not let the Konoha army advance. Of his sage mode, it works great for no matter what is power or coverage. Even with these multiple shadow clone techniques, you don't have to worry about anything at all, you just need to kill people when you see them, that's right. There were constant screams in my ears, even if Gong Yi was broken up, but Kumogakur village the ninjas suffered even more casualties. Dodai's face was ugly, and he was always calm, but he couldn't calm down at this time. This continues, the strength of the Kumogakur army will be weakened to the limit. On the side, there is a ninja army of more than 5,000 Konoha, eyeing them. A woman with a hot body and good looks came to him. Lord Dodai, if you keep fighting like this, even if the dark blue devil's chakra is drained. Of the ninjas in my village also exceeded expectations. That way, no. Dodai took a deep breath and looked at the woman. Yugito, what do you think? Yugito smiled, the strong should be dealt with by the strong. But the strength of the dark blue demon. I'm a Jinchuriki column force, and even if Konoha Hokage is here, I'm not afraid. Chakra surged on Yugito's body, and the powerful momentum continued to rise. Okay, then you go to stop the dark blue demon, and I will let the army surround you to assist you in your attack. Yugito nodded, his body moved, and he was already rushing towards the white figure who was about to kill. Swish! The golden light on the tip of the sword is endless, and the fresh Yuhi blood is dripping continuously. Gong Yi's eyes swept around, and there was no one alive around him. There was no one around the more than 20 shadow clones he still survived. Did you notice? Gong Yi's brows twitched, apparently because of his own quick kill, making Kumogakure's commander unable to sit still. Suddenly, Gong Yi turned around, and in his pupils, an extremely beautiful big beauty was reflected. This person was rushing towards him with a fierce and domineering aura that completely violated her appearance. Wherever he passed, blue fireballs kept emerging. Jinchuriki column force, Yugito. Dark blue devil, your opponent is me. As soon as Gong Yi's spell seal was resolved, all shadow clones were withdrawn, and he noticed that a lot of chakra was lost. Gong Yi frowned, but was not flustered. With his 100% converted body, the amount of chakra has been raised to a very high upper limit. In addition, there is a yin seal in it, which is enough to support this war. Watching Yugito's progress, Gong Yi laughed loudly. I heard that the last battle was. You suddenly rushed out and destroyed my Konoha 800 ninjas. You're not weak. Today's battle killed thousands of people in my Kumogakure village in just half an hour. Next, I will make you pay the price. Gong Yi's eyes suddenly narrowed, his expression indifferent. That's what I mean too. The distance is close. It is the best range for performing ninjutsu and attacking the enemy. Yugito waved both hands, and behind her, the condensed blue fireball smashed down overwhelmingly. Meteor showers are like fire, but this kind of fire is blue. Gong Yi was not afraid at all, and the water formation wall shot out instantly. No matter what. Your fire and water are destined to have a restraining effect. Not only that, a black long spear, glowing in deep pitch black, like thunder blasting, passed through the meteor shower and headed straight for Yugito. Boom, boom, boom. Meteor showers continuously hit the defensive cover constructed by the water formation wall, creating layers of ripples. Boom. When another one blue fireball hits it, water formation wall, break 5. After all, it is Kaiden fire style ninjutsu with the power of tailed beasts. Even if water formation wall is instant, even if you get Sage Art bonus, but also unable to withstand the force of Jinchuriki column of two-tailed people, all the way forward, constantly stacking attacks. However, Gong Yi didn't panic at all and opened his mouth to spit. Dragon Flame Release Song Jutsu. A fire dragon, shaking his head and shaking his tail, met those blue fireballs and devoured them one by one. Yugito's hand showed a blue light. Looking at the oncoming black spear, he stretched out his hand carelessly. The sound of golden iron rang out. Yugito's face changed slightly, and he moved the spear back, changing the direction of the spear's attack. Make it disappear behind you. This person's Doden earth style seems to be mixed with another kind of chakra. Almost didn't hold my cat's paw. Thoughts passed in a flash. Yugito had already rushed in front of Gong Yi. Without a second word, in the blink of an eye, you have entered the strongest state. The tailed orc Jinchuriki column has the strongest form, the tailed beast. Gong Yi walked out of the fire and rain. Behind him, 7 golden longswords, from top to bottom, constantly revolving around him. Humph! Tailed orc Jinchuriki column force. I've already killed one. I don't mind today, I'll kill another. Chapter 231. 3-1. Boom! Under everyone's attention, the two played against each other for the first time, making a huge concussion sound. The earth trembled, the air evaporated, and the volcano not far away was even more implicated, spewing out more magma. Stepping on the lava with bare feet, Yugito didn't feel anything. The tail beast coat covering her body was even hotter than the lava. Looking at the spotless white figure in the distance, Yugito stuck out his tongue and licked his arm. Wound on. The dark blue devil is stronger than she imagined. Kekkei Genkai named Jindun can cut the tail beast's coat and hurt her body. Thinking of the six-tailed Jinchuriki, column power is. Die at the hands of Gong Yi, Yugito put away his contempt. But she was not afraid. With a screech, Yugito charged again. Gong Yi's face. There are no waves in the ancient well. He killed the six-tailed Jinchuriki column force, and even cultivated a three-tailed Jinchuriki column force in his hands, and even the Kyubi nine-tails Jinchuriki column force is also him grown up from a young age. 3220. He is not at all afraid of the tailed beast, a weapon of war that people fear. Even said that he was still a little excited. Fighting against such a high-level powerhouse in the ninja world will allow him to quickly master his own skyrocketing strength. Hairy rat flame jade. Yugito showed his whole body, and dozens of mouse-shaped fireballs suddenly bloomed on his body. Blue shape, very high temperature. Gong Yi strode forward, spinning wildly around the seven long swords beside him. Like a storm, it swept through the scorching hot fireball. Gong Yi has become more and more skilled in the development and utilization of Jindun Kekkei Genkai. Under his control, the storm formed by the seven long swords constantly smashed the blue fireball, preventing it from getting close to him. When Yugito moved, her tail beast was a two-tailed cat, and the body was a cat demon-like existence. Extremely fast and flexible. In the state of tailed beast, in addition to providing her with a huge chakra, the speed and flexibility bonuses are even higher. Shoo! In an instant, Yugito appeared on Gong Yi's face. In front of him, the cat's paw flashed a sharp blue light and swung down. Gong Yi grinned and kicked over without showing weakness. Sage mode, it's not easy to mess with. Boom! With a muffled sound, Yugito was in pain and flew out backwards. In the air, seven golden long swords followed closely. Another agile turn, Yugito avoided the seven golden swords and rushed towards Gong Yi frantically again. Blooded pursuit. Blue flames linger all over the body, and then attack Gong Yi with super high-speed physical techniques. Under such an attack, ordinary people simply can't stand it. But beyond Yugito's expectations, Gong Yi calmly stopped him. Fist, retreat, elbow, finger, one move and one style, perfect. Sometimes tough, sometimes soft. Occasionally touched Yugito's body from a distance. Watching this scene, looked shocked. Master Gong Yi, his physical skills are so powerful. Yamanaka Inoichi wondered, isn't Mr. Gong Yi famous for his super strength physical skills in the first place? Why are you so surprised? Akamichi Choza took a breath and explained to his brother, this is completely different. Back then, Lord Gong Yi was not so well known for his super strength physique. It is better to rely on the 8 inner gates to crush the enemy with that. But look, every time Lord Gong Yi makes a move, his moves are unpredictable. This kick is completely the purest Konoha whirlwind, and Genquan represents Teishu. Look again, this palm. Is there any shadow of Hyuga gentle fist? Yamanaka Inoichi looked intently, and his expression changed slightly. The Hyuga family, but the famous Konoha family, still have power, they Ino Shikacho, above a single family. In addition to Byakugan, gentle fist is also a must. Of course he knew it. Now it seems that in Gong Yi's physical skills, not only the master of the unparalleled Genquan, but also the Hyuga gentle fist. Hardness and softness, even if it is a tailed beast turned person Jinchuriki, column, physical attack, he is completely at a disadvantage in counterattacks. Nara Shikaku's voice was a little hoarse, and he said slowly, and Lord Gong Yi did not open the 8 inner gates. Other words, he has not even used half of his strength yet. They can see these things, and Dodai, who pays close attention to the situation on the battlefield, naturally can also see it. When Yugito was thrown to the ground again, almost letting the Jindun long sword pass through his chest. He couldn't sit still. Darui, Samui, the two of you go to assist Yugito. Samui carried a short knife and flexibly flipped it in his hand. Even if she was standing on the enemy side, she admired the man opposite very much. Not to mention so powerful, yet so handsome. Hearing Dodai's order, she hesitated. Master Dodai, it's a one-on-one battle now, we'll intervene. This is war, not a personal duel. Dodai shouted coldly and stared at Samui. You want to disobey orders. Go, Samui. Darui rushed out first, and Samui had to follow behind. The two found a gap and blocked Gong Yi's move for Yugito. However, just that move made Darui's complexion change greatly. The strength is too strong, can't attack hard. When the words fell, a leopard-like lightning suddenly released from his body, like a ray of electric light, shooting at Gong Yi. Raiden Thunder style, Black Madara is bad. This technique was developed by the third-generation Raikage. With fast speed and concise attack, almost no one can escape. And the next development, as Darui thought, directly hit Gong Yi. Darui's face showed joy. Samui, come on. Once on the battlefield, Samui had no choice but to let go of his admiration for Gong Yi. Carrying a short knife, he bullied himself up, with two giant ruts in front of his chest, shaking like waves. Cloud flowing and flying blades. When she wanted to come, since Gong Yi was hit by Darui's Black Madara, even if he was not injured, he would be paralyzed. However, when she got close to Gong Yi and saw those interesting eyes under the dense lightning, her whole body was stunned. Take it. Countless black lightning bolts were suddenly absorbed into Gong Yi's face. The golden long sword in front of him, and then into the earth. Gong Yi's hand transformed into a kunai, which blocked the short sword of the giant ninja in front of him. Samui was not to be outdone. The short knife in his hand flew up and down like a butterfly, and he kept walking beside him, looking for opportunities to attack. However, every 6 times, they were blocked by Gong Yi's short knife. Your swordsmanship is very strong. But compared to the swordsmanship of my Konoha Hitaki clan, it's far worse. Gong Yi chuckled. When Jindun Kuwu blocked Samui's dagger again, Kuwu's tip extended by 3 points, slightly picking it up. Samui hurriedly pulled back, but soon, she realized something was wrong, and immediately covered her chest with her hands. Her clothes were torn from her abdomen to Rugo. If she hadn't retreated quickly just now, she might have been cut in two. Darui looked at Yugito, who was panting beside him, and knew that Gong Yi, the two-tailed man Jinchuriki column was trembling with strength, and lost a lot of physical strength. Now, I have to block Gong Yi with Samui. It's just that he is puzzled. Obviously Black Madara is bad and has already hit Gong Yi. Why didn't it have the slightest effect, but almost pushed Samui into a corner? Chapter 232. Darui is dead. Just that Darui immediately raised his attention when he saw Gong Yi approaching in a calm, yet very shocking manner. Can't let it go. He goes on like this, and his offensive must be stopped. The art of shadow clone. A shadow clone appears beside Darui in an instant. The two looked at each other, and they started hand seal sequence, exactly the same. Raiden Thunder style, Black Madara is bad. Double Black Madara is bad. Crack. Two Thunder Leopards, running towards Gong Yi. The speed is so fast that it does not give people any reaction time. However, something unexpected happened. Gong Yi stopped in place, completely endured the double Black Madara, and walked out unscathed. I used the same ninjutsu twice for me, but it didn't work. Gong Yi sneered and continued walking towards Yugito, the second tail. Today's battle, if you can kill a tailed orc Jinchuriki column force, it will be a huge blow to Kumogakur. Darui's face changed slightly, and behind him, Yugito reminded loudly. His Kekkei Genkai, with metallic properties. The thunder and lightning generated by Raiden Thunder style will be introduced into the earth by him, and it has no effect on him at all. No more Raiden Thunder style ninjutsu. Darui suddenly woke up, and on Gong Yi, in addition to the white energy, there was indeed a faint golden chakra floating. If this is the case, he can explain himself why the 2 consecutive Black Madara differences have no effect on him. Since the good Raiden Thunder style is not good, then let you try my Kekkei Genkei 29. Darui was ruthless, his hands clasped together, and the chakra of the thunder and water properties on his body instantly merged to form a unique chakra. Gale style, storm style. As a talented young generation in Kumogakure village, Darui is very talented, and even has the potential to become a cage-level powerhouse. And his new master Kekkei Genkei is even more powerful. Let's make a name for my Kekkei Genkei with this battle. Encourage caustic soda. Several lasers shot out in the blink of an eye, and wherever they passed, even the air evaporated directly. This kind of piercing chakra can even break through the defense of the 4th generation Reikage. Has been verified when Darui and the 4th generation of Reikage sparred before. Kai. The laser penetrated through, and several holes appeared directly in Gong Yi's body. It worked. Darui is happy. Behind him came Yugito's loud reminder, be careful. Bang! Gong Yi, who had just been pierced through, suddenly turned into a cloud of mist. Shadow clone. Crap. Before Darui could react, a golden longsword penetrated his body from behind him. Gong Yi was back to back with him, and the golden longsword was thrust out from the back, and then slowly pulled out. Didn't the 4th generation of Reikage tell you about my speed? I was the same as him back then. Boom! Darui opened his eyes wide, and his body knelt down directly. Inside his body, Jindan chakra frantically destroyed his internal organs. Almost instantly, he was physically dead. The remaining will only allowed him time to say 2 words. So fast. Gong Yi held a sword flower and looked extremely relaxed. With his current physical strength, the speed of performing the teleportation technique has even surpassed that of Namikaze Minato back then. Although Namikaze Minato is Hiraishin's 3 battles, but his yellow flash name is obtained by the unpredictable telekinesis. Shunjutsu is not complicated, this ninjutsu is very low level. Almost every ninja can touch it, and it can be said to be similar to the basic 3-body technique. But if you want to learn the advanced realm of instant body technique, it is not so simple. Namikaze Minato relies on super time and space sky body technique to reach ultimate. On the other hand, Gong Yi is completely complete. With his physical strength, he can traverse the air barrier to achieve the instant body effect. The distance is very short, but it can have an excellent effect when Darui is caught off guard. Ah, I'm going to kill you, dark blue demon. Two-tailed Yugito roared angrily. Behind her, the tailed beast coat directly added a second tail. Tail beast transformation, full body state. Gong Yi shook his head. I've heard this sentence too many times. It's boring. Moment, he looked around coldly. If you only have this trick, then you can die. Stretching his muscles and bones, a green light appeared on Gong Yi's body. The 8 inner gates, open. Lord Reikage, the front line is bad. A ninja anxiously broke into Reikage's office, ignoring Reikage's rage, and immediately explained the situation. Master Dodai from the front sent back an urgent report. The dark blue demon alone fought against my Kumogakure army, and the strength is strong, we can't resist. Reikage was shocked. How is this possible? He is only one person. Beside him, Mabuyi calmly said, Master Reikage, please calm down. Have you forgotten that the 3 generations of Lord Reikage once resisted tens of thousands of ninjas alone? I was stunned for a moment, then murmured, has Gong Yi's strength grown to such a level? He dared to enter the village of Kurigakure alone, which shows that his strength has already reached cage level. It's totally fair to fight my Kumogakure army alone now. The 4th generation of Reikage is puzzled, but on the battlefield, there are Darui, Samui, Dodai teacher, and the person Jinchuriki column force Yugito. They join forces, even I am afraid, can't they stop the dark blue devil? Azabuyi was also puzzled and looked at the ninja who sent the information. Lord Yugito is already on, but after she turned into a beast, she still couldn't stop the dark blue demon, and even almost got killed a few times. What about Samui and Darui? When Dodai-sama returned the information, he also sent 2 people. The specific situation is unknown, but Lord Dodai suddenly sent back information. I am afraid the situation is not optimistic. After hearing these words, the 4th generation of Reikage couldn't sit still. Originally he was a belligerent. Gongyi also had a fight with him, and at that time, he was the underdog. Now that many years have passed, he has practiced ninjutsu to a very deep level, and his body has also undergone transformation over the years under the stimulation of Raiden Thunder-style's nature transformation. It can be said that he is not even afraid of tailed beasts now. Now that he heard Gongyi wreaking havoc on the battlefield, he couldn't hold back. Mabuyi, send me over with the technique of heaven. Mabuyi pondered for a while, then slowly said, you go alone, if there is something wrong. There is my Kumogakur army there, what can I do wrong? No, if you really want to go there, it's better to bring Lord Killer Bee. My God-send technique can only be used once in a short period of time, I don't want to make any mistakes. Okay, you and I go to Yunlei Gorge. Reikage didn't hesitate, grabbed the petite Mabuyi, smashed the glass of the office directly, and quickly rushed towards Yunlei Gorge outside the village. There, it is the place where Killer Bee retreats. On the battlefield, there were battles before and after, but now it has undergone earth-shaking changes. Countless people watched the scene on the battlefield in shock. Yugito, covered in blue flames, was supposed to be frightening, even incapacitating. But now, it was caught by Gongyi with one hand. Smashed to the ground with no pity on Shangshiyu. Boom! Another loud noise of 320, Yugito's spirit shook, and his chakra couldn't gather. In her mind, the anxious voice of the 2-tailed cat came out again. Yugito, that's not going to work. Your tailed beast coat will be scattered by the enemy sooner or later, and then you will be in danger. But, you hold on, I will double the release of the tailed beast chakra later, break free of his control, and take the opportunity to escape. Gongyi frowned, and Kumogakur village handled the relationship between the people Jinchuriki, column force and the tailed beast very well. No matter what is 2 tails, or 8 tails, almost everyone can understand each other with Jinchuriki, column force and cooperate with each other. He once killed the 6-tailed man Jinchuriki, column Li Yugao, but the other party just transformed into a tailed beast coat under the emotion. Defense is pretty normal. Moreover, he used Morning Peacock to blast away Yugao's coat with countless air waves, and then killed Yugao in one fell swoop. But Yugito is now not only in the state of the tail beast coat, she is in the full body of the tail beast. The defensive ability is almost comparable to that of a tailed beast. It seems that this kind of attack alone is not enough. Can't get out of the distance and cast Morning Peacock, then it's better to kill you directly with the golden chakra. A golden long sword in the left hand turns out, and Gongyi slashes it coldly. But at this moment, Yugito, which he was holding with his right hand, suddenly sent out huge energy fluctuations. Gongyi's face changed slightly, and he instantly cast Water Formation Wall. Boom! With a loud roar, Yugito flew upside down. One of her legs was directly blown to pieces by the erupting tailed beast chakra. The strong man breaks his wrist, but it's such a great courage. Gongyi sneered, reaching out with one hand. Above his head, a big black and yellow hand, covering the sky and sun, grabbed towards Yugito. The gecko's tail is broken, and it depends on whether you can escape from my palm. Chapter 233. Of Xuanwang's big hand needs no further description. It has been proven long ago when it swept a large area. Yugito looked pale at this scene. Can't you escape after all? A strange hum sounded, and a beam of light appeared in the sky. Two figures fell from the sky. One of them was in the air, bursting with endless thunder light, like a thunder god coming into the world, punching the big hand of Xuanwang with a punch. Boom! A huge explosion sounded, and Xuanwang's big hand kept shaking. From the distance visible to the naked eye, he was directly knocked back several meters. Fourth Raikage. Gong Yi's face was a little dignified, and he looked at another man wearing sunglasses. Killer Bee Jinchuriki Column Force, Killer Bee. Combination, recreate the battlefield. The fourth generation of Raikage is carrying his right hand behind his back, and his muscles are trembling faintly on the thick metal wrist guard. What kind of ninjutsu is that, so powerful? The fourth generation of Raikage looked at Gong Yi warily, and asked without looking back, Yugito, are you alright? Yugito coughed up a mouthful of blood and said weakly, it's not life-threatening, but my leg is broken and I can't fight now. Also, Lord Raikage, watch out for the dark blue demon, he's very powerful. Not much to say about Gong Yi's intelligence. Word, strong, is enough to explain everything. The fourth generation Raikage nodded. Just when he was on guard against Gong Yi, Killer Bee shouted not far away. Big brother, Darui is dead. Raikage looked at the sound, and his face changed suddenly. Darui is actually dead. For a time, his heart is full of anger, and he keeps surging. Darui is the escort appointed by Raikage himself, the fourth generation of Raikage, who inherited the Black Raiden Thunder style of the third generation of Raikage, and even created a unique Kekkei Genkei, Gale style, Storm style. It can be said that as long as Darui is given more than 10 years, his future is limitless. There is even a chance to become the heir to the fifth generation of Raikage. He actually died here. Dark Blue Devil. A furious roar resounded throughout the battlefield. The fourth generation of Raikage is full of lightning, and his hands are interlaced in front of him, posing a fighting stance. I will kill you today. Gong Yi smiled slightly, the white light on his hand spun sharply, a Rasengan as big as a grinding disc, constantly condensing. I would like to see how much your strength has improved compared to that year. Exclamation mark quote. ... What was that light just now? Who are the two people who fell from the sky? In the Konoha army, there were constant voices of doubt. 4. The scenes on the battlefield today have changed from worry, shock, to excitement, and even gradually become numb. The power of Lord Gong Yi completely surpasses all Konoha elephants. On the battlefield, one person alone can fight against thousands of troops, and he is invincible. At the back, one person fought 3 people alone, attacking the famous genius and strong Darui. Called, the second right hand, by Raikage, the fourth generation. Not only that, he forced Samui, the strong swordsman, to retreat, and even nearly killed the two-tailed Jinchuriki column force. Such a record, constantly provoking, stimulates their nerves. Now there are 2 more strong men appearing, one of them even punched back the big-handed ninjutsu performed by Lord Gong Yi. Visible strength. Nara Shikaku and Akamichi Choza, Yamanaka Inoichi looked at each other. That's 4 generations of Raikage. The other one is his brother Killer Bee Jinchuriki column force. According to the picture, it should be correct. Of the strong men in each village is almost all circulated in the ninja world in the form of portraits and photos. It's actually quite easy to recognize someone, especially for someone like Nara Shikaku who is at the top of the village. On the contrary, at the time, Gong Yi, pretending to be disfigured, showed up in a black robe all day long. That time, he was in a period when he was entering adulthood and his appearance changed greatly. The entire ninja world, there is almost no spread of his appearance. Many people have only heard the name Deep Blue Devil, but don't know what Gong Yi looks like. How could the 4th generation of Raikage and Killer Bee appear on the battlefield at the same time? According to the information, they should stay in the village of Kumogakure, the Land of Thunder. If this teleportation technique is suddenly used in a certain village to perform a beheading operation, wouldn't it be impossible? This will only put the strong in danger. This technique must have very harsh release conditions. Sending from heaven is almost unknown to the outside world. But Nara Shikaku and Yamanaka Inoichi were smart people and quickly thought of the release conditions. They were actually right. To perform this technique, one must be physically fit to a certain level. History, in the Kingdom of Thunder, apart from the 3 generations of Reikage, no one could withstand this kind of technique. The 4th generation of Reikage is also able to withstand the technique of heaven after years of practice and physical strength, reaching the level of the 3rd generation. As for Killer Bee, it is because of the 8 tails that it can withstand this kind of art. Akamichi Choza worried. Do we need to help Lord Gongyi? He has been fighting for so long, I am afraid that there is not much chakra left, and now he has to face the cage-level powerhouse, and even the existence of Killer Bee Jinchuriki column force. Yamanaka Inoichi frowned. Let's go up and join forces, we should be able to deal with one of them. The name of Inoshika Cho was also fought through wars. The 3 teamed up, even the cage-level strong, dared to fight. This is why Konoha let them go when there was no one to send leading the army of ninjas. It's almost a cage-level presence has been dispatched. Nara Shikaku shook his head when he heard the words of his 2 companions. In this battle, before Gongyi has spoken, we must not interfere. Ignoring the doubts of the 2 companions, Nara Shikaku's eyes twinkled. He had already vaguely guessed why Gongyi acted so flamboyantly. There have been people in the village suppressing Gongyi and limiting the growth of his power. Even this war, which is about Konoha's fate, has sent reinforcements to Gongyi. Originally, Gongyi also had enough achievements to compete for the position of the 4th generation of Hokage. But he was too young and Namikaze Minato was too loud, so he was suppressed. Now that Gongyi is an adult, if another war that shocks the world will show his great strength, then Konoha's 5th generation Hokage position will no longer be hindered. Perhaps there is another obstacle, that is Sarutobi Hiruzen, but this obstacle will only gradually approach nothing with the passage of time. Kilometers away, all of them watched the battles with excitement. For Gongyi's powerful strength, he was even more delighted to see it. So powerful, if you give this person a few more years, he will definitely reach the level of Senju Hashirama. No, he should have kept his hand just now. Could it be that he still has a better hole card? Just at the corner, while they were muttering to themselves, a black Yuhi-colored Uzumaki slowly emerged. Corner, all turned around, and Uchiha Obito, wearing a mask, appeared beside him. It's you, Faye. The name of Uchiha Madara, Obito, after careful consideration, finally decided not to use it for the time being. Not yet the right time. Therefore, he changed to a name that he casually suggested when talking to the ghost shark, Faye. After that, among Akatsuki, only Nagato, Konan and Kisame Hoshigaki knew his name as Uchiha Madara. Maybe there's another, Orochimaru. But Orochimaru is obsessed with research and doesn't care at all. Obito won't have too much contact with him. Therefore, the strong men who joined the organization later only know that the masked man is called Obito, and the master is a powerful time-space ninjutsu. And, a Sharingan. The masked man nodded and turned his attention to the battlefield, focusing on Gongyi. In the matter of Kurigakure village, he must have intervened. Otherwise Terumi-mei could not have escaped my demonic illusion control. Chapter 234. Instantly defeated Reikage 3rd. Terumi-mei's coup d'état is actually fraught with danger. But in the end, it was a bit of a drama. Obito overestimated his demonic illusion ability. After controlling Yagura and Six Tails one after another, he wanted to control a cage-level powerhouse like Terumi-mei. When distracted, Six Tails and Yagura broke his demonic illusion control one after another, so when he yelled at Yagura to move, Yagura's body stiffened and he didn't shoot immediately. On Terumi Mei's side, when Gong Yi and Gong Ling captured her, they attacked her with a fine needle of divine consciousness, which was a complete divine attack. Not scattered. After letting Terumi Mei go, Gong Yi even kept the fine needle of divine consciousness in Terumi Mei's body. This is also the case, when Obito controls Terumi Mei, it is equivalent to having another person who helps Terumi Mei break free from demonic illusion. And that line of consciousness rushed out and killed Uchiha Obito, who was careless. At that time, Obito felt the breath of Gong Yi. Yagura died, Terumi Mei Master Kurigakure was in power, and if there was no other plan, Akatsuki basically lost the tool of Kurigakure village. Obito had no choice but to use time and space ninjutsu to arrive at the land of soup. He wants to assist Koke, all, and bring Hidan into Akatsuki. Feeling the battle here, he also came to take a look. "How's the battle going?" Obito asked in a deep voice. Zhao, he didn't even explain 320. He doesn't like this guy who wears a mask all the year round. "You can see for yourself, you won't know." Obito snorted and looked intently. And the next battle made him stunned. Thunder level Chio dance. A familiar move reappears in front of you. Looking at the fourth generation Raikage who was covered in blue lightning, fast as a thunderbolt, Gong Yi laughed and took it with a palm. Senpo, Sage Art Big Ball Rasengan. Jung. The tyrannical hand knife meets the Rasengan who gathers a large number of chakras and keeps spiraling. The powerful force forced the two strong men away. Gong Yi threw his hand away, and even though Rasengan unloaded Raikage's power, a part of it still passed. Not bad. The fourth generation of Raikage's right hand trembled slightly, and his heart became excited. "You are also stronger than I thought. Come again." Gong Yi shook his head, facing the praise of the fourth generation Raikage, but he was dismissive. "Maybe I'm stronger than you realize now, even stronger." The words fell, he did not hesitate any longer and showed his whole body. The 8 inner gates are open again. Doors are open. The gates are open. In the previous fight against Yugito, he only opened the 4th gate. But now, he wants to open all the doors. In this battle, his purpose is to stand up. It is to make the entire ninja world realize that it is big. It's the kind of powerful that can look down on the ninja world and be invincible. In this case, it is better to drag it down slowly. Righteousness, it is better to show the crushing power and bring despair to these people. The warm-up is over. Now, enjoy the fear. Gong Yi murmured, "There is another door on the body, and it opens in an instant." The shocking door of the 8 inner gates, open. This is the last door in front of the gate of death. Once opened, the body will begin to emit blue light produced by the evaporation of sweat. Color steam. Endless blue steam lingered outside Gong Yi, and inside was that strange white sage art chakra. By this time, everyone present saw this scene, and their pupils widened. The dark blue demon, how strong is it? Was it just a warm-up before? Like a demon, Gong Yi looked at the 4th generation Raikage who was in shock. One punch, just one punch. The right hand was slowly pulled back, and the powerful energy, like a bow full of strings, began to gather. Next blow will definitely be an earth-shattering blow. 4 generations of Raikage's complexion changed greatly. At this time, Gong Yi gave him the feeling that it was extremely dangerous. He didn't dare to hesitate, his body began to run fast, and the blue lightning on his body continued to gather. When he reached the peak, he pressed his thumb on the inside of his palm, and his 444 fingers came together, like the god of thunder, and stabbed towards Gong Yi. The hell thrusts are all in one hand. Gong Yi moved. The blue steam surged out, and at the moment he started, a fierce tiger roared out. Day tiger. Under the attention of all the people, the two suddenly collided with each other. Boom! A huge roar sounded, and a blue figure flew out. No one knows who that will be, because whatever. Whether it's steam or lightning, it's all blue. But when Killer Bee flew out quickly, in the air, and picked up the man who flew out upside down, the answer was already obvious. 4 generations of Raikage, lost. Just one move, he lost. Gong Yi brushed his chest. There are 444 small white dots. Result of the powerful thrusting characteristics of the 4 books of hell thrusting. However, even his defenses were not broken. Your strength, compared to the 3rd generation of Reikage, is still a bit worse. He can master the 4 books, and cultivate to the point of mastering the books. You are still stuck in the 4 stages. Gong Yi sneered. Reikage, who was seriously injured and vomiting blood, he was definitely the center of attention at this moment. After the shock door is opened, you can use the advanced physical technique Day Tiger. Of this move is that in the original book, when Might Guy uses it, it instantly kills Kisame Hoshigaki. Gong Yi doesn't care now. Its physique, chakra, and the status bonus of Sage Mode, which are dozens of times more than Might Guy. 4 generations of Reikage, it is impossible to take this trick. Brother, are you alright? Killer Bee looked at I anxiously. He had no idea that his brother would be defeated so quickly. He was just standing aside and swept away. After all, before departure, the elder brother also said that he would have a good fight with the Dark Blue Devil. However, the 2 sides briefly contacted, and the Dark Blue Demon broke out with a big move, directly defeating the 4th generation Reikage. The 4th generation Reikage's expression was decayed, and blood was constantly spitting out of his mouth. Unable to speak anymore. Killer Bee looked at Gong Yi, who was walking step by step, exuding a powerful momentum, and bit Kiba. Teacher Dodai, take Yugito and eldest brother back to cover with the whole army. Dodai looked at him solemnly. Are you going to stay and block the Dark Blue Demon? Killer Bee put away his usual cynical smile and made a decision. Someone has to do this or we'll lose even more, and I can't die. He's Reikage, he has to live. Dodai sighed, gave Gong Yi a hateful look, hugged Reikage with both hands, and moved closer to the army behind him. Gong Yi looked at the retreating army of Kumogakure village, and then looked at Killer Bee. You're going to stop me? Killer Bee did not speak. His body shook. 7 long or short knives were pinched by him with various parts of his body. And on him, tentacles stretched out one after another. At the back, the 8 tails waved and swept. Complete body tail beast transformation. This is the strongest person in the world, Jinchuriki column power. There is no one. A decisive battle of life and death, ready to go. To read the ununderlined version of the novel, Baidu search 99 Playmates, find 99 Novel Network and LT, otherwise collection will be banned IP. Chapter 235. Fighting Killer Bee Jinchuriki column force. Gong Yi felt the remaining Sage Art chakra in the vulva seal, and a smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. However, in fact, it is extremely cautious. The Killer Bee Jinchuriki column force, its strength, can almost be said to be the strongest existence in the human Jinchuriki column force at this stage. This kind of strength is not strong in the general sense. The strength of Killer Bee itself is not weaker than ordinary cage level. And the 8-tailed is the best among the tailed beasts, only weaker than Kyubi, 9 tails. Killer Bee and Yao can understand each other again, and have a true spiritual connection. 1 + 1 of the two, the superposition of strength is far beyond 1 + 1. At how powerful the previous 4 generations of Reikage were, but at least the current 4 generations of Reikage have not reached their peak, and their best ninjutsu has been conquered by Gong Yi. Killer Bee is the biggest worry. With a screeching sound, the golden long sword appeared again. Gong Yi held a long sword and rushed towards Killer Bee without hesitation. Jinchuriki column force. I want you to the land of thunder today, and cut off your arm. Facing Gong Yi's attack, Killer Bee stopped laughing and didn't dare to be careless. The short knives wrapped around various parts of the body began to swing wildly. Abandoned heron chopping knife. Use the 7 knives flexibly with various body parts and physical techniques. Its unpredictable and fast blade style makes it impossible to see clearly. Is a physical art in itself, and then the speed and strength of the tail beast is accelerated, and ordinary enemies cannot compete at all. However, Gong Yi is a normal enemy. He also has Sage Mode bonus. His physical swordsmanship is in no way inferior to anyone in the world. Dang, 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 dang. As soon as the two fought, there was a piercing sound of gold and iron mingling. The long sword composed of the golden chakra and the yuhi, colored short sword wrapped in the tailed beast chakra attacked each other without showing weakness. Sparks were scattered, and the killing intent was full. Countless people outside who were paying attention to this scene were shocked when they saw the picturesque, yet extremely dangerous sword confrontation. A simple physical technique reached this level. Sir Shikaku, I heard that you fought under the seat of Lord White Fang, but I don't know how Mr. White Fang's swordsmanship compares to these two. There is a Konoha ninja, I can't help but ask. Even Nara Shikaku was excited when he saw the dazzling and gorgeous body attack. Master White Fang's swordsmanship is purer than the two. Perhaps in the realm of swordsmanship, it is a higher level. But Master Gong Yi's power, Killer Bee Jinchuriki column power-tailed beast state, are stronger than the ordinary human body of Master White Fang. If Lord White Fang fights against them, who will win and who will lose, I can't tell. Konoha White Fang, that is the legend of the ninja world that surpasses Sannin. At the end of World War II, it dazzled on the battlefields of various countries. At this moment, in Nara Shikaku's words, it is vaguely inferior to Gong Yi. Dang! Another sword strike. Gong Yi frowned, and slapped Rasengan behind him with a palm. Sigh. The short knife that Killer Bee attacked strangely was slapped away by him, fluttered, and returned to Killer Bee's hand. 7 knives are really unpredictable. But you have 7 knives, so I only have 1 sword. Gong Yi snorted coldly. The long sword did not dodge or evade, and driven by super high speed, he stabbed Killer Bee in the lower abdomen. Killer Bee struck out with 3 swords, trying to block the sword. He succeeded. Gong Yi's sword was stopped when it stabbed 3 centimeters from his lower abdomen. However, the next moment, Killer Bee's face changed greatly. On that long sword, a large group of golden light was transformed into 5 rays of light, which suddenly shot out. Dang, dang, dang. In a hurry, Killer Bee could only do his best to block 3 rays of light, but the remaining 2 sword lights hit him directly. Ha! The dull voice sounded, and Killer Bee came up. Gong Yi frowned slightly. He could feel that his strange move of turning 5 swords with 1 sword did not cause any damage to Killer Bee. The first 8 knives. Killer Bee jumped high without fear of death, using his head as a weapon, directly to Gong Yi. Under his tail beast coat, yuhi-colored bones appeared, one after another, completely covering it. Boom! The dull voice sounded again. Gong Yi stepped back, a golden light on his hand and a faint blood on it. Just now, he attached the golden chakra to his hand and took the attack from Killer Bee. The distance between the two was widened. Gong Yi looked at the enemy cautiously. Your strength is stronger than Raikage. Seeing that Gong Yi stopped, Killer Bee did not attack in order to buy time for the Kumogakure troops to retreat. He just laughed. It's my honor to be recognized by the Dark Blue Devil. HMPH, but your strength is just that. Gong Yi snorted coldly, threw the long sword in his hand, and started to quickly hand seal with both hands. The long sword was in the air and instantly transformed into 7 handles. 7-handed swords, head and tail and head, circling in a circle, flying wildly. Gong Yi pointed his finger far away, and the 7 swords flew out one by one. Jin Dun Kixing Lianju, facing this attack that was almost at its peak, Killer Bee's 8 tails suddenly moved. 8 yuhi-colored tails are wrapped in it, and the body is like a spinning top, spinning. Ding, ding, ding. A sharp thorn after another sounded. Killer Bee abruptly leaned against the body of the tailed beast, blocking the blow. However, even so, 7 holes appeared on his body, and blood kept flowing out. Gong Yi nodded with satisfaction. The penetrating power of the 7 star beads is indeed as good as he imagined. But the next moment, he shook his head again. The hole in Killer Bee's Yi's body is rapidly recovering at a speed visible to the naked eye. The complete body of the tail animal can quickly heal the injury of Jinchuiki column force. Not only that, after Killer Bee blocked, he grabbed his hand forward, and a tail slapped like a palm. Gong Yi was not afraid, and the same grab it forward. That covered the sky and the tail suddenly collided. Boom! The earth-shattering sound made this world tremble. It can't be delayed any longer. Gong Yi's heart moved, and the blue steam surged, an instant technique, and came to Killer Bee. Good come. Killer Bee grinned, with countless tailed beast bones on his body, and attacked Gong Yi directly with physical techniques. Gong Yi was not afraid at all, and on him, golden light bloomed one after another. Even used the golden chakra to form external spikes similar to the bones of a tailed beast. I am going to tear down your animal skin. Gong Yi roared wildly, grabbed a tailed beast bone with one hand, and did not dodge or evade the bones that. Grabbing this bone, Gong Yi's hand vigorously exerted force. Click. Broken. Ah. Killer Bee stings, and a long knife slashes. Ultrasonic Vibration Raiden Thunder Style Knife. The knife is filled with Raiden Thunder Style chakra, and it is extremely sharp. And visible to the naked eye, the knife vibrates at a high frequency, and its penetrating power is also more terrifying than imagined. Gong Yi doesn't hold on one side of the body, and the left foot kicked out. Kick it on Killer Bee's wrist and kick the knife away. Not only that, but a mark moved lightly in the consciousness seed in the left eye. Raiden Thunder Style Jinchuriki column. Boom! A Thunder Jinchuriki column rises from the ground. One after another thunder and lightning, like chains, trapped Killer Bee. Killer Bee's tail vibrates, and he is about to break free from the bound Dragon Jinchuriki column. He is not afraid of the paralysis attribute of Raiden Thunder Style. However, Gong Yi's attack, like a flood, continued incessantly. Senpo, Sage Art Inorganic Reincarnation. The earth trembled, hands stretched out one after another, grabbing Killer Bee's 8 tails respectively. Now, on the giant Thunder Jinchuriki column, the tailed Killer Bee is bound in the air. And his 8 tails were grabbed by 8 big white hands and kept pulling outwards. Perfect opportunity. Gong Yi started to accelerate and ran towards Killer Bee frantically. In the air, he continuously blasted straight punches. High-speed attack, forming a cloud of Yuhi-colored shockwaves in the air. The 8 inner gates Morning Peacock. Not only that, when the Yuhi-colored shockwave rolled away like a torrent. Gong Yi took the form of a huge white tiger several hundred feet tall, roaring the heavens and the earth. The 8 inner gates. Killer Bee looked miserable, opened his mouth and spit out. A black ball, in the ratio of 2:8, brings together yin and yang chakra. Tailed Beast Bomb. The next blow will be a landslide and the earth will crack, and the sky and the earth will change color. Baidu search 99 Playmates to find 99 Novel Network. Chapter 236. Sword World. Moment Tailed Beast Bomb appeared, the expressions of countless powerhouses watching the battle changed drastically. Especially the masked man, without saying a word, grabbed the horn, and used the time-space ninjutsu to escape thousands of meters away. Jian Zhao, with that puzzled look, the masked man simply explained. This technique is the ultimate trick of the tailed beast. Even if it is human Jinchuiki column power, it must be released in the complete body tailed beast transformation. Its power can destroy more than a dozen mountains, and there is no problem. Corner, they were all astonished and attacked like this. Even if he has 5 hearts, it will only be destroyed in an instant. Where the Konoha army is, Nara Shikaku's expression changed greatly when he saw this scene. Ino Shikacho troops, join forces to release the enchantment. Om, Om, Om. The army of more than 5,000 ninjas was divided into 3 places, and 3 beams of light rose from the ground. A huge barrier protects them inside. Too many people, you can't run away, you can only fight hard. Gong Yi, who is in front of him, can block him. A A figure pierced the air and suddenly came to the front of the Konoha army. Jiraiya turns on Sage Mode and guards, 3220, with a solemn expression. In front. No matter what. Gong Yi wins or loses, he must protect the Konoha ninja army. As for the other intelligence ninjas who observed this scene, even if they didn't know what Tailed Beast Bomb was, they sensed the danger inside and avoided it. It's all too long to say, but in fact, it started when Killer Bee Jinchuriki Column Force accumulated Tailed Beast Bomb. Gong Yi is in the blue steam and doesn't care about it all. Like a butterfly flying into a fire, it rushed over. Morning Peacock arrives first. Tailed Beast Bomb's black ball directly hit the countless Yuhi-colored air shock waves. Boom. It's like an army crushing, unstoppable. Morning Peacock, Break 5, Roar. Roar of the Day Tiger. Fierce and domineering, take Tailed Beast Bomb. Boom. The huge sound resounded through the world. The escaping energy swept across all directions. Crack. The earth is cracking. Boom. The volcano erupts again. There are 7 or 8 small hills, which are directly polished by energy and turned into nothingness. Should be dead. Killer Bee weakly muttered to himself. With the strength he has practiced for several years, he can only barely release Tailed Beast Bomb once. But even so, he believed that no one could survive the attack of Tailed Beast Bomb. The next moment, his eyes suddenly widened. That had shrunk countless times, walked in the air, and rushed over in the blink of an eye. Roar! The white tiger energy body passed through. Gong Yi stood in front of the Jinchuriki column, with a golden longsword under his feet, supporting him. Killer Bee's eyes widened, his expression stiff, and he was dead. Killer Bee Jinchuriki Column Force. Die. Everyone was stunned. Gong Yi actually resisted Tailed Beast Bomb and even killed Killer Bee Jinchuriki Column Force. Jiraiya swallowed. That's Tailed Beast Bomb. Akamichi Choza burst out laughing, and his excitement was beyond compare. Yamanaka Inoichi was also happy, but more calm. Lord Gong Yi, who was at the Tailed Beast Bomb of Kyubi, 9 Tails, 3 years ago. Now it's just a Tailed Beast Bomb unleashed by a single Jinchuriki Column Force, and of course he can take it. Jiraiya looked surprised. 9 also used Tailed Beast Bomb on the village. Nara Shikaku glanced at him and said lukewarmly, Master Jiraiya wanders around the world leisurely, of course he doesn't know what happened to our village. At that time, Kyubi 9 Tails only used Tailed Beast Bomb once. Not even 3 generations of Hokage can stop Kyubi 9 Tails. Then you are. It's all up to Lord Gong Yi and Lord Hokage for the 4th generation. 2 of them, Gong Yi fought Kyubi 9 Tails hard and took the next round of Tailed Beast Bomb. Lord Minato even transferred a Tailed Beast Bomb to seal Kyubi 9 Tails again. But that's exactly what our young Hokage, the 4th generation, paid for with his life. Speaking of which, Nara Shikaku felt a little down. Jiraiya looked embarrassed, but saddened. His own disciple die like this. Gong Yi took a breath and looked at the tail that was still pulling inorganic reincarnation's big hand, his face grim. Killer Bee's stomach with a palm, Sage Art Chakra spewed out. What is he going to do? The masked man in the distance changed greatly. Did he take the opportunity to release Yatai after the death of Jinchuriki column? Jiraiya paid attention to this side, and when she saw this scene, she even shouted, Gong Yi, you can't. However, all of this, Gong Yi is ignorant of all this, and still goes his own way. Iron Armor Seal. Breaking 5, not a solution, but Breaking 5. He actually used a powerful seal technique to cooperate with Sage Art Chakra, which is 1 level higher than ordinary chakra, which directly destroyed the seal. After unlocking, Gong Yi pulled away and stepped back. Just as he backed away for less than 3 seconds, the sky and the earth were howling, and the rain was pouring down. Endless energy began to gather. Yin chakra and Yang chakra come from the fusion of heaven and earth. Forms a monster with 8 octopus tentacles and the body of a giant brown bull. Yahweh, bull demon, human. Eight tails. To meet, without any hesitation, a shocking battle begins again. What Gong Yi asks, Eight Tails Chakra. What Eight Tails think, revenge for Killer Bee. When the Eight Tails appear, Kumogakure, who has retreated to the extreme distance the army couldn't help but stop and looked back. Yugito has recovered his thighs with the help of two-tailed chakras. A pair of beautiful eyes, looking at the battlefield. Eyes of the seriously injured fourth-generation Reikage, his expression was tragic. Killer Bee is dead. Yao Wei has been released. The fourth generation of Reikage looked sluggish. He never imagined that his partner, his brother, would die like this. If you don't win, go head-to-head with Gong Yi, but cooperate with Killer Bee. So then will you die? Endless self-blame flooded into my heart. Tears flowed from his fierce eyes. Dodai bit Kiba, the army, keep retreating. Go back to the country, and tighten all the way. Yugito didn't leave, just stood there blankly. Dodai leaned over, Yugito, you are now. I'm fine. Yugito shook his head in a depressed mood, just looking over there. Yao is released, Killer Bee must be dead, the dark blue demon is too fast, if he wants to leave, Yao must not be able to keep him. Just like this, our village of Kumogakure will lose a tailed beast. Dodai patted her shoulder and comforted, we still have you, and Lord Reikage is still there. Village must be safe and sound. Yes, Dark Blue Devil. His power is beyond our imagination. This kind of existence will either oppress the ninja world like Senju Hashirama, or it will be jointly attacked and will not exist in the world. Don't worry about these things. Dodai saw clearly. He knew that no village would dare to let Gong Yi's existence continue to live. Yugito lowered her head, but in her heart, she thought of another possibility. What if the former? ... Boom, boom, boom. One after another octopus tentacles slapped on the ground, and the eight-tailed ox ghost showed the power of the tailed beast. This is not a tailed beast controlled by demonic illusion, but a eight-tailed beast that unleashes its wildness and possesses full power. Gong Yi deftly evades the tentacle attack, and at his speed, the eight tails cannot attack him at all. Gong Yi looked a little crazy. I dared to fight QB, nine tails, hard back then. You are a mere eight-tailed, what can I do? When getting close to the eight tails, Gong Yi's hands started to hand seal frantically. Multiple shadow clone techniques. Not only that, Gong Yi is still in hand seal. Another tentacle shot, and next to Gong Yi, a shadow clone directly cast Big Ball Rasengan and rushed up. PFF'd. Shadow clone shattered, but the attack of the tentacles was also slowed down. Eight tails are angry, more tentacles, overwhelming 1/6 covered and photographed. And next to Gong Yi, shadow clone, one after another, performed different ninjutsu, and rushed forward without fear of death. Big Ball Rasengan, Majestic Destroyer Flame, Great Fire Annihilation, Earth Shore Return, Sky Shattering Palm, Spiral Waterspout, but all of this can only resist the eight tails attack for a short time. However, the time all this has bought has been enough. Gong Yi's face, ruthless, with a golden long sword under his feet, he was lifted into the air. Standing high, overlooking the eight tails. Although I can't suppress the tailed beast like Senju Hashirama. But I can kill the tailed beast. After the hand seal was completed, Gong Yi pointed together like a sword, shaking it and pointing to the next. Senpo, Sage Art Jin done. Sword World, open. A long sword, the tip of the sword downwards, suddenly plunged from above the sky. And behind the long sword, there is infinite golden light, coming in a mighty manner. It was one long sword after another. With an incomparable sharpness, it is like a 9-day waterfall, falling from the sky. In a golden ocean, countless long swords came crashing down. Chapter 237. This is the world of swords. Kingming resounds endlessly, sharp and sharp, cutting everything. When the sword world opened and descended into the world, the entire battlefield was almost hell. All the people outside the sword world felt chills all over their bodies and trembling in their hearts. What kind of ninjutsu is this? Jiraiya paled in horror. On his shoulders, the two great toad fairies also croaked. Distance, Uchiha Obito was even tighter. This kind of ninjutsu, the deterrent to people, is too strong. Coke. All swallowed. Decades ago, I fought Hashirama, and in that fight, I wasn't the only one. And other ninjas, besieging Senju Hashirama together. Obito looked over and listened to the text. During that battle, Senju Hashirama used a Mokuten, wood-style ninjutsu technique called Deep Forest Emergence. As soon as this technique came out, the mountains and plains were all giant trees that were spawned by his huge chakra. Every giant tree has a powerful strength that can be deployed by Senju Hashirama to turn it into the most powerful attack method. Dark Blue Devil's art, vaguely, has the same effect as Senju Hashirama's 29th birthday. These bystanders all felt cold all over their bodies. Who are in the sword world, feel even more deeply than them. As far as the eye can see, the sword. It is still the sword. The entire battlefield is shrouded in the world of swords. A slight movement of the body condensed by chakra will be cut and shattered by the sharp sword that is constantly circling and flying. And that feeling, it seems that the disconnected body cannot be reconnected. It knows that it can no longer be trapped in the sword world. Moo. With a roar like an ox, the eight-tailed ox ghost drummed up the huge-tailed beast chakra, sweeping all around. Clap Lala. The sword world swayed, and countless flying swords were swept away. Empty has its own appearance. When the eight tails wanted to rush out, the long swords that were swept away, turned around again, and with a sharper momentum, cut its body. Gong Yi looked at all this with cold eyes. He couldn't believe that eight tails could rush out. This ninjutsu was indeed inspired by Deep Forest Emergence. But inside, it also incorporates his previous understanding of Jin Dunjan, who had resisted Kyubi, nine tails, and even added the essence of sealing. In the whole sword world, every long sword is transformed by his chakra, occupying all directions, forming a huge seal formation. Don't ask for a seal, just ask for a seal. Impossible to escape. The eight-tailed cow ghost panicked, staring at Gong Yi with huge pupils, and opened his mouth to spit. A black-tailed beast bomb that flew out directly. Tailed beast bomb with its own hands, which is faster and more powerful than the force of Jinchuriki column. However, in the face of all this, Gong Yi just shows his hands and suddenly closes them. Sword world. 99 long swords converged and attacked the tailed beast bomb that spewed out. Not only that, but there are other long swords that support the power of tailed beast bomb. Boom! The tailed beast bomb, halfway through the shot, disappeared into the air. Tailed beast, it sounds powerful. But attacking carrot, but there is no decent means of attack, just like Kong doesn't know it. He doesn't despise this way of using energy. When he was the weakest, Gong Yi would understand the truth of using every chakra to the limit. Like the tailed beast, a massive chakra, but tossing and turning, is tailed beast bomb. If you can do it all at once, that's fine. But what I'm afraid of is, such as the existence of Gong Yi, the first generation, their power is not necessarily lower than that of the tail beast, but will have more means. Stop playing with you. Gong Yi took a deep breath, and the spell seal opened again. The sword world trembled, and countless flying swords, as if they had been guided, began to fly in an orderly manner. Speed is getting faster and faster, the sharp meaning, tearing the world. When reaching the limit, Gong Yi drank. Sword world storm. Kai, Kai, Kai. Every sword is heading towards the eight-tailed bull ghost, forming a huge storm in the sword world, tearing and strangling. The eight-tailed bull demon desperately resisted, but its body was too large to stop it at all. Just for a while, its body was riddled with holes. It opened its mouth to vomit, but even the tailed beast bomb couldn't condense. In the end, the capital is rich. It's still not dead. Gong Yi sighed, his eyes widened, his hands clasped in the void. Two big black and yellow hands appeared. Countless swords in the sword world roared in unison, and thousands of golden lights rushed towards his hands frantically. The blink of an eye, a huge sword with a length of hundreds of meters was held in his big Xuanwang hands. Cut! The giant sword was swung down suddenly, as if the world had opened up. Boom! A terrifying voice sounded, and the eight-tailed ox ghost's body, which was riddled with holes, was directly chopped into two pieces. In addition, the slashing power of the giant sword spreads thousands of meters ahead. A long ravine that can't be seen all the way. Then a dozen mountains in the distance, unexpectedly, were all split open. The sword energy was 30,000 miles across, and the sword light was cold in the 19 states. Xuanwang's big hand dissipated, and the golden giant sword dissipated. Gong Yi's body moved, and he came to the half-body of the eight-tailed bull ghost, and the golden light flashed away. One of the bull's horns fell off directly into his hand. A huge pupil stared at Gong Yi, his eyes angry and indifferent. Human, I am immortal. After a few years, I will be reborn and reproduce this world. Gong Yi held its broken horn in his hand and sneered at 320. So what, I can kill you today. In the future, I can kill you 100 times 1,000 times. Moo! The shrill cry resounded through the world. The eight-tailed bull ghost, an entity composed of chakra, slowly dissipated between heaven and earth. At this point, the human Jinchuriki column is dead. Eight tails are dead. Gong Yi stepped on the golden long sword, floating in the sky, and the white sage art chakra slowly disappeared. His eyes swept across this messy, hell-like battlefield, and cast into the distance. Volcanoes are constantly erupting there, and the magma is wreaking havoc on the earth. The sky is full of Yuhi mons, and Yuhi clouds are filled. On the ground, thousands of Konoha ninjas looked at him in awe and adoration. Jiraiya's eyes flickered at him, then turned away. Gong Yi looked again, and a few kilometers away, a man wearing a yellow striped mask looked at him and turned his head away. Black Yuhi-colored Uzumaki appeared, and the masked man and horn, both, left directly. At the end of his gaze, the shadow of the Kumogakur army was looming, like a prodigal dog, fleeing in embarrassment. This battle, he will settle it alone. The army of 8,000 ninjas will be killed and wounded everywhere. After that, he will kill Darui, capture the Jinchuriki column force, and defeat the fourth generation of Reikage in an instant. Fighting, breaking the tailed beast bomb, killing Killer Bee Jinchuriki column force, using the powerful golden escape sword, cutting the tail beasts and ghosts. The first person in the ninja world. Well deserved. Philo reminds you, the 3 things to read and collect. Tweet the latest chapter. Baidu search 99 Playmates to find 99 Novel Network. Chapter 238. Pain and Akatsuki, 2nd. The war was over, and the storm subsided. Raindrops flowed down the sky, contacting the erupting volcanic magma, sending out billowing smoke. The huge gully created by Gong Yi before, slowly gathered rainwater, and some groundwater was penetrated. Half an hour later, a river was rolling in the country of Yuno. Seeing that the torrential rain will continue, Gong Yi will no longer stay in this messy place. A move, Gong Yi appeared before the Ino Shika Cho troops. Just as he approached, cheers like a tsunami of mountains and tsunamis rose from the sky. Master Gong Yi, invincible. Long live Lord Gong Yi. Invincible, invincible, invincible. ... Gong Yi heaved a sigh of relief. After this battle, he was the #1 man in the ninja world. Defeat Kurigakure and Kumogakure, 2 ninja villages one after another. And his personal record is even more contemptuous. Except Onoki from Iwagakure village, the 4th generation Kazekage, the 3rd generation Mizukage, the 4th generation Mizukage, the 4th generation Reikage, and even the future 5th generation Mizukage are all his defeats. Its strength has reached a level that ordinary people cannot imagine. Even the tailed beast was beheaded by him. If I want to come back to the village this time, the old guy from the 3rd generation Hokage will no longer dare to do any small actions to himself. But these are all things to consider later. With a wave of his hand, the cheers of the mountains and plains suddenly stopped, and everyone's eyes converged. This war. We, Konoha, won. Gong Yi said loudly, his handsome face exuded an invisible personality charm, which made every Konoha ninja present fall in love. Countless respectful eyes fell on him. Of cheering victory sounded again. Gong Yi smiled and looked at the trio of Ino Shikacho 3. Although this battle is won, it is not suitable for pursuing the victory. Nara Shikaku wiped the rain off his face and nodded. The torrential rain has come so hard, I don't know if the heaven and the earth are weeping for the 8 tails, or it is the season of flooding in summer. But no matter. Why, this weather is not suitable for chasing the Kumogakure troops. Nara Shikaku is very relieved. Gong Yi is not just strong enough, sensible or calm enough to distinguish the situation. This kind of character is really a Konoha Hokage, that would be Konoha's luck. But even if we don't pursue, we can't just retreat like this. Gong Yi said with a smile. The rain was beside him, and automatically split open, as if there was an energy shroud. The army of more than 5,000 ninjas still remains on the border, putting pressure on the Land of Thunder. This war has cost the lives of thousands of ninjas in my Konoha village. It almost trapped me, Konoha, in a land of no doom, the Land of Thunder. How could I have to pay a price? Gong Yi's tone turned cold. Otherwise, I don't mind going to the Land of Thunder in person. Who heard these words trembled in their hearts. If Gong Yi comes to a certain place, destroying the village and destroying the country, it is conceivable. First let everyone go to the camp to shelter from the rain and repair it. After Gong Yi finished speaking, he nodded to the army and floated away. After him, Nara Shikaku and Akamichi Ding, Naka Inoichi, hurried to gather the army. Rain is getting heavier and heavier. The situation is getting more and more complicated. The orange-haired Pain stood in the rain curtain, looking up at the sky that looked like a weeping country of rain. Behind him, there are powerful beings standing in 2 rows. By Conan on the right, followed by Deidara, Sasori of the Red Sand. On the left is Kisame Hoshigaki, Kaku, Su, and a young evil youth with a huge scythe on his back. His name is Hidan, and he was born in the land of soup. As for the masked man, and Orochimaru, they are not here. Conan stood under the tower and looked up at Pain. Then our plan. Pain said lightly, the plan to collect tailed beasts, develop a new forbidden technique, and manufacture tailed beast weapons has to be delayed. Hidan said carelessly, why do you delay my joining Akatsuki? Not for dormancy, I need fresh blood, I need Matsuri to worship the evil god. Pain looked at him like a bandaged Rinnegan, looking directly at Hidan. Hidan took a step back subconsciously, and the corner, all stood in front of him. He said neither humble nor arrogant, Pain, this is different from what we said earlier. Pain chuckled lightly and looked at the others. Sasori, Oni, Deidara, how about you? Sasori has now been replaced by a human puppet, but his appearance is not too different from the previous Fei Liuhu, and even his name was named Fei Liuhu by his nostalgia. He buzzed and said, I don't care, just provide me with enough materials and let me continue to study the puppet forbidden technique. When he said this, he was a little surprised. Is the strength of the dark blue devil really that powerful? Pain did not speak. Zhao, all stood up and explained. This matter can't be fake. The Kekkei Genkeihi masters, and the sage mode mentioned by Pain, are far beyond our expectations. This man has grown up so fast. Sasori of the Red Sand was in a trance. He vaguely remembered that the dark blue demon was not so powerful back then. At that time, the dark blue demons were also very strong, but they only had attainments in taijutsu. Even if he defeats himself, he relies on his fighting talent to intimidate the 3 generations of Cage's puppets with 3 jewels suction crushing. And now, it sounds like the dark blue demon has the power to crush everything. Maybe he didn't know, if it wasn't for his secret art support, Gong Yi might not be able to get to where he is today. The fair trade that year, Sasori of the Red Sand gained life, and Gongyi gained the opportunity to control the lives of others. Kisame Hoshigaki said calmly, "There is no rush to collect tailed beasts, and my current strength is in getting Yu. The Kurigakure village Sweden water-style ninja surgery provided by Afe can also be improved. Now I want to find a place to practice so that I can face that man in the future." Pain nodded and looked at the young man playing with the dirt. "Deidara, what are your thoughts?" Deidara laughed, "As long as you give me the promise of Iwagakure village Doden, earth-style ninjutsu, I will listen to your arrangement." "Well, don't worry, I'll do this for you as soon as possible." Pain looked at the rain curtain outside, and said leisurely, "Postponing the plan is a last resort. Now that the 8 tails are dead, with the size of the 8 tails of the chakra, it will take at least 10 years to revive." And the 3 tails disappeared. It is very likely that he was controlled by the dark blue demon. I need to improve my Rinnegan ability, and I will deal with him in the future. With the legendary Rinnegan, face the now powerful and invincible dark blue demon. Present was a little curious, who would win and who would lose Hidan, but Pain had already covered his mouth with words. Hidan, Horn, both. Now that the village of Kurigakure is out of our control, the organization also needs sufficient financial resources, and it is up to you to do this. How? Although it was a good questioning sentence, there was not much room for negotiation in the tone. But Hidan did not refuse, and the two happily accepted the task. Both of them like money, and they like to do bounty tasks. Now with Akatsuki's intelligence support, he will only be more comfortable doing it. As for Hidan, he just mastered the evil mystical arts and just wanted to find someone to fight. Earning an economic source, what else is there than executing a bounty task with a high bounty, which comes faster? These things are set like this. Several missing nin also left one after another, and only Conan remained with Pain. Nagato, you. Call me Pain. Pain, you are really sure to defeat the dark blue demon. Pain stroked his eyes. Rinnegan's power is beyond your imagination. A dark blue devil, he is not my opponent. Like Akatsuki in the shadows, after Gongyi defeated the Kumogakure troops in front of him and achieved an amazing victory. The entire ninja world, large and small forces, are all uneasy. To read the ununderlined version of the novel. Chapter 239. Dominate the laws. 3rd. Personal strength is too strong, which will cause others to fear you. However, it will not directly prompt others to join forces to attack Gongyi, as Kumogakure Dodai said. Reason is very simple: without enough interests and crises, it is impossible for others to join forces. The ninja world has been fighting endlessly, especially the formation of several major countries based on the power of the village. After countless wars, the accumulated hatred has been extremely high. It's not that simple to get a few villages to let go of their grievances and join forces to deal with Gongyi. Comparatively speaking, this anxiety about Gongyi was transformed into other actions. The village of Iwagakure began to remain silent, and after the Third Ninja War, the strength of the village of Iwagakure was greatly weakened. Onoki didn't want to use force anymore, just wanted to recuperate. And in the 3 battles, Sunagakure village, which was defeated twice in a row, unexpectedly, took the initiative to submit a request for friendship to Konoha. Faced with this request, all countries in the ninja world were surprised. But after being astonished, I felt it was a matter of course. Sunagakure village is low in strength, and it is adjacent to Iwagakure village and Konoha village. And the support of the daimyo of the Land of Winds to Sunagakure village is getting smaller and smaller. A result, Sunagakure village can only take the elite ninja training route, and cannot expand the number of ninjas as much as before. 3. If a channel of peaceful communication can be established with Konoha, this is a good political move. But this is just a request. Whether Konoha will agree or not depends on the follow-up development. For now, Konoha's top priority is how to deal with the Kumogakure village, which was defeated and shrunk in the country. Continue the use of soldiers and give up. The current Konoha is far from being able to devour a country. The Third World War and the Kyubi Nine Tails upheaval greatly damaged Konoha's vitality, and the number of ninjas in the village was reduced by almost half. Even if the Kumogakure village was really destroyed and the country of thunder was destroyed, it would only be a wedding dress for others. Konoha can't take over that huge territory. In fact, this is also the reason why Gongyi did not continue to attack after defeating the Kumogakure army. Not time yet. The continuous rainstorm and the gloomy sky gave many people more time to rest. The country of thunder is happy. This kind of weather, the Konoha army will not attack at all. As for the Konoha ninja army, they have been fighting abroad for more than a year, and they are also powerless. The feeling of returning home inevitably spread throughout the camp. Gongyi stood in front of the tent, and he was the only one. His eyes were clear, but his heart was full of turmoil. The Yuhiro mission in the system, after he defeated Kumogakure village, was finally completed. In fact, Gongyi doesn't depend much on the system anymore. At the back, he mostly relied on himself and climbed to the top step by step. After all, the system is only an assistant. How far you can go depends on your own efforts. Take a brief look at the tasks. Mission: survive the 3 wars. Mission description: survive the Third Ninja World War. Overall progress: 10 inches. Branch missions: complete the defeat of the Sunagakure arsenal behind the enemy, complete the rescue of Nara Shikaku, complete the leader of the Konoha Medical Corps, complete the Konoha Ninja reputation status and complete the end of the war against sand with your own hands. Completed: participated in the Battle of Kamuna-kun Bridge, ended the war against Iwagakure completed, destroyed the Kurigakure village Sanway plan completed, reduced the loss of Kyubi Nine Tails Konoha, entered the Kurigakure village, pushed back the Kurigakure army completed, defeated Kumogakure by 1-person army is complete. Review: perfect. Reward: tens of millions of points of the Master of Learning, top-level skills of Master of Learning, to rule all the laws. There is no complicated task introduction, it is as simple as that. A perfect rating, as expected by Gongyi. The Third Ninja War, except Iwagakure vs. Kurigakure Village Battle, Iwagakure vs. Kumogakure Village Battle, he basically participated in the whole process. And in those 2 wars, he also played a driving role. The other, the war against Sunagakure village, he used Sasori of the Red Sand to assassinate 3 generations of Kazekage as a handle, forcing Chiyo to surrender. The follow-up war against Iwagakure village, he participated in the Battle of Shinwu Kunchao, which can also be regarded as the end of this war. As for the level of participation in defeating Kurigakure and Kumogakure by 1 person, needless to say. It can be said that in the Third Ninja War, he played a vital role in every war. Get a perfect rating, of course. Comparatively speaking, Gongyi prefers to study his growth over the past 10 years. From the initial careful survival, to leading the medical team in the back, to making a name for various countries, ending the war, and finally leading the outcome of the war with the power of 1 person. This feeling gives a great sense of satisfaction. As for the rewards given by the system, tens of millions of points, Gongyi smiled casually. If it was before, he might be very happy with this thing. After all, it can upgrade the rank of a scholar, or improve the skills of a scholar. But now, his strength has reached his level, and he is no longer attractive. Keep it for now, it can be used at any time when the time is right. Gongyi thought about it for a while, and turned his attention to that. The rule of law that is called the top-level scholar's skill. What kind of skill is worthy of the title of top-level? You must know that even the existence of divine art is only a skill that can grow. And the divine art has already given Gongyi a great help. Cultivating the perfect sage art relies on the divine consciousness born after the cultivation of divine art. And the effect of the divine art is more than that. Strong spiritual power, giving Gongyi a lot of benefits in his daily practice. Unforgettable, insight into the radius, divine attack, etc. Here, there is one thing that is extremely important. That is the power of the mind and the enhanced chakra control ability. Gong Yi didn't notice it before, but when he studied the Kekkei Genkei Jindan at a higher level, he gradually realized it. The general Kekkei Genkei ninjutsu often requires a hand seal to perform. Even Sharingan and Byakugan need hand seal to open their two eyes. Other pupil techniques are also matched with corresponding techniques. But Gong Yi's Jindan hardly needs a hand seal. From the earliest Jindan Kunai, to the Jindan long sword, and then to the John River behind, Jindan was buried on the ground. Often the golden chakra is released outside, and Gong Yi just can change the chakra form and attack method at will. Extremely flexible, the enemy often fails to react. Gong Yi didn't care about it before, but only later found out that it was because his mental power was too strong, which caused his chakra control ability to reach a peak level. And this is just an additional effect of the divine refinement technique, and the divine refinement technique has not reached the 6th floor or above. In other words, this is still in the stage of intermediate academic mastery skills. Governing all methods is above the magic of refining. Gong Yi is very curious, what is the stronger local skill introduction? Governing all methods, deriving all techniques, governing all methods. Fei Lu reminds you. Read 3 Things collection of things, push to see the latest chapter. Baidu search 99 playmates to find 99 novels and LT. Chapter 240, Unpredictable Gong Yi's Thoughts. The extremely simple skill introduction is just 8 words, and the last 4 words are the same as the skill name. Gong Yi frowned. Literally, this skill can derive ninjutsu and control various laws. Shaking his head, Gong Yi doesn't to struggle with this issue again. Even after practicing divine art for so many years, he has gradually figured out the magic effect of controlling all dharmas. Seems simple in thought, but in fact, it should be very complicated. Explore slowly in the future. Perhaps in comparison, Gong Yi feels that what he has gained from this battle is not just the rewards of the system. One person defeats the Kumogakure army, kills the strong enemy, and brings the prestige to oneself as the biggest gain. And another gain. Gong Yi looked at the thing in his hand, which was the horn of the 8-tailed bull ghost that he cut off. This is the transformation of the tailed beast chakra, which is extremely condensed. Because it is at the level of the 8 tails, unlike the 6 tails, it will quickly dissipate. Even if the 8 tails die after being cut off, this horn is still preserved in the world, and there is no need to seal the scroll. With this thing, plus the 6-tailed chakra, and the 3-tailed body of Gongling, closer to his collection of chakras from the 9-tailed beasts, and become a Jinchuriki column force of a small 10-tails man. In fact, with Gong Yi's strength, he can now forcefully collect them. But Gong Yi doesn't hurry. After he defeated the army of Kumogakure, he somehow felt a vague sense of loneliness. It seems that this piece of heaven and earth, if there is no resistance, life will lose its meaning. Once the meaning of life is to live, to control one's own destiny. Now that he has the strength to do all this, the goal is achieved. But that's exactly what happened. He felt lonely, similar to the loneliness of the sword demon Dugu seeking defeat in the Legend of Condor Heroes. Now, Gong Yi has a new goal. He needs to challenge, and needs more strong people to challenge him. Only in this way can he have the motivation to move on. And to do so, it should be impossible at the moment. But as time goes by, he believes that in the original book, there are so many masters in the 4th Ninja World War, which should make him feel a little happy. In Konoha 52, the country of Thunder sent an envoy to the village of Konoha to carry out an armistice agreement. Signing of Konoha ninjas hoarding on the borders of the Land of Fire can finally go home. Before leaving, all the ninjas glanced at the Land of Soup, Yuhi Cloud Mountain Range. The volcano has long since been extinguished, and the magma has solidified into large pieces of stone. Those floating volcanic ash, washed down by the torrential rain, landed on the earth and became the fertile Kuratsuchi land. What the ninjas are looking for is a big river that rushes into the sea. That is the big river that Konoha's strong blue demon, a sword cut out. That sword not only cut out a huge ravine, but even turbulent the nearby earth plate. During the month-long torrential rain, the Unokuni River collapsed and burst its banks, and merged into the gully along the fragmented earth plate. To scour, thus turning the gully into a river. This river is located in the country of Soup. The upper stream originates from the country of rivers, crosses the territory of the country of fire and the country of thunder, and finally flows into the sea. This was done by human beings. And this river, also by the Konoha ninja, named it Deep. The unpretentious name, named after Gong Yi, in honor of everything he did. Perhaps in the next few decades, Blue River will also become a popular place in the ninja world like the Valley of the End. The Konoha Gate, the familiar scene, is still the deafening mountain tsunami. Gong Yi received the cheers from the crowd and calmly came under the Hokage office building. Sky cleared up, and the sun, which had not been seen for a long time, appeared above his head. Gong Yi looked at the building, the corners of his mouth twitched slightly, and paced inside. Never has he entered this place with such a relaxed state of mind. But relaxing, maybe he is the only one. Sarutobi Hiruzen, Kaharu Udatane, Homura Mitokado, who were waiting for him, all looked solemn. Why, won't you be happy? Gong Yi looked at everyone playfully, the smile on his face was extremely bright. Sarutobi Hiruzen smiled awkwardly, happy, how can I be unhappy? Kaharu Udatane said unceremoniously, Gong Yi, you don't have to take such a risk at all. We are already negotiating with the Land of Thunder, and even if the confrontation continues, they will agree to withdraw. A humiliating quest for peace. You. Gong Yi didn't. With a smirk, politics has always been a lack of strength, that's why I play with it. I'm Konoha, why should I compromise? Kaharu Udatane burst into anger, but you know, you do it. Killed so many Kumogakure ninjas, and even Darui, Killer Bee, the 4 generations of Raikage's attention. This made Konoha and Kumogakure village a deep hatred. What about revenge? Gong Yi asked back, his smile closed, and his face became cold. If I want to, I can force my way into Kumogakure village and kill the 4 generations of Raikage. I can do it. Kaharu Udatane raised Yuhi's face and pointed at Gong Yi, trembling beyond words. Put your fingers away. I don't like people pointing at me like that. Gong Yi said coldly, the air in the entire office was almost frozen. Kaharu Udatane's face turned pale, and he tried to hold on, but was pushed down by Homura Mitokado. Homura Mitokado said calmly, winning is good thing. The messenger of the Land of Thunder will soon come to Konoha to sign the armistice. This battle is up to you, and the negotiation should be up to you, so please give your opinion. Gong Yi nodded and looked at the 3 of them seriously. To their surprise, Gong Yi shook his head in disgust. Forget it, leave these troublesome things to you. After speaking, he waved his sleeves and turned to leave. In the office, the 3 of them looked at each other, completely confused. Gong Yi's actions are really inconsistent, and people can't guess what he's thinking. Originally, they thought a lot about what Gong Yi would do when he came back. For example, Gong Yi won the war, and when he came back, he would show off his might and show off himself in front of them. This is the most superficial idea, and with Gong Yi's performance over the years, he should not get carried away and make such a move. Instead, they are more worried about another possibility. Taking advantage of the great victory, Gong Yi forced Sarutobi Hiruzen to abdicate. It's very possible, and if Gong Yi does this, the villagers will definitely be on his side. After all, Gong Yi's current strength is much higher than Sarutobi Hiruzen. He came as Hokage, no problem. But no, Gong Yi saw them and did nothing. Just showed a tough attitude and seemed to declare that he had done nothing wrong. Besides, Gong Yi is gone. He doesn't even want to be involved in the final negotiation with Kumogakure. What was the intention of doing this? Sarutobi Hiruzen coughed with a gloomy expression, and finally sighed in vain. The strength has reached the point where he can decide a war by himself. We can no longer speculate on his mind. Kaharu Udatane was surprised, but he's only a 16-year-old. Age is never a criterion for judging a person. Sarutobi Hiruzen shook his head. Homura Mitokado said calmly, if Gungi wants the Hokage seat. Sarutobi Hiruzen bowed his head, was silent for a long time, and finally said quietly, then give it to him.